Station, everybody. I greet you with the right hand, the hand of love on this holiday season. Hope everybody's doing well out there. December 19th, 2023, less than a week out from Christmas. I can't believe we're here already. Of course, it always goes like that in December, man. It goes so quick. But yeah, been a long road, here. Over the past couple of weeks, dude. Little man was in the hospital. I know we had to miss last week. John, what up, sir? How are you? John's in the house. John, station, sir. Yeah, but with the breathing problems Monday through Thursday of last week, but he's home. Been kind of a whirlwind tour, trying to manage everything. But yeah, dude, I'm glad we're back at it here again. Always great to spend an hour and a half with you, brother. How have you been, man? How's your December been? How's it looking for Christmas and all that good stuff?
It's been good. I can't all first world problems, I can't complain about anything really. I got it pretty good, bro. Not to brag, but it's I sometimes I'm trying to be more reflective around this time of year, and sometimes I'm bitching about something I don't have, or it's this or that, and it's like I got it good. So it's like, I'm respecting that. But my December has been good. It's been quick. Like when you said it was December 19th, that kind of slipped my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, man, the year's done already, and it feels like it was just New Year's, like last month. But it's been. I mean, I guess that's a good thing. When you're having fun, time flies. But yeah, I'm good, brother. I'm good. Glad to be here. Talk comics. Always enjoy that with you.
Yeah, I was telling you backstage, bro. I feel like we're the lames trying to throw a party before that big night tomorrow night. With, of course, I just noticed he jumped backstage. Let me try to bring him in real quick if he's ready. The man, the myth, the legend. Oh, bro! I was just telling Lincoln backstage how lonely it feels trying to throw a party before the big shindig you got planned tomorrow night.
Just hanging out, man. We just had Station. What's up, guys, man?
Station, bro. Thank you for coming through, man. We're doing well. How you been, bro? How's your December been overall, man? You looking forward to Christmas or? Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm all over the place, dude. I'm somebody hit me up the other day and was like, "Are you feeling okay? Are you okay?" I'm like, "What happened? What?" So I shaved and shit. I'm like ran down a little bit, but man, I'm still happy. I'm still in great spirits, man.
Absolutely, man.
You know what I mean? We're so fortunate and we're so lucky. Like Link said, being reflective and stop worrying about the little shit. I mean, it seems big at the time, right? But right. It's little stuff.
Absolutely, man. Life's all about the little things. So blessed to be, being in here, upright, walking around and here talking with you fellas. Honestly, it's a joy. It's a blessing. So I'm grateful to have, made y'all's acquaintances this year and to be spending time with y'all week after week. It's awesome, dude. It's the highlight of my week. I know we were saying that in the back chat earlier, tell the wife, the kids, let me have this one thing, because it truly is like a gift and a blessing. So shout out to y'all. But hell yeah. So I thought, all right, so here's my general approach to tonight. I wanted it to be a celebration of the books of 2023. Normally when we get to this time of the year, we're whittling everything down. It's a shaving down. We're trying to narrow it down to a list of 10, a list of 5, trying to really distill it. I just went through kind of week by week on League of Comic Geeks and the comics that move me. Week to week, I included here. If it moved the needle enough, I threw a cover up. Obviously, the indies had a ton of representation this year. I was really kind of surprised, how dominant it was, across the board. But yeah, it was indies, DC, and Marvel for me in that 1, 2, 3. But man, we talk about it all the time, how lucky we are, how much great, we bitch about the price of books and how Marvel's doing this wrong and DC's doing that wrong and Night Terrors and this and that. But dude, how many great books, just looking back at this retrospective and really put things in perspective of how many great different original awesome stories we got blessed with this year. And so I wanted to like celebrate that. I know a lot of books on here mean more to some than to others, but I think there's like I feel like I pulled a pretty good list of slides together that represent like you know yeah a good assortment of the offerings, both from the big two and the indie world. We got AWA, we got Boom, we got and of course images, like Fable said, images clocking it heavy. Images making a run to shatter that big two,
Big three, man.
Mount Rushmore or whatever. Yeah, man. So
I truly believe that they may become big one. I mean, maybe not in stores, maybe not in comic shops, right? But like online retailers, they're doing pretty well. People are going to where they want to go online. There's plenty of shops, plenty of people on Instagram, plenty of people on eBay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, people are picking up these image books, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think I didn't have the time, but I would have loved to have counted it and put it up on the numbers. But like, Image was definitely, I would say, like my most read publisher or my most enjoyed publisher this year. I mean, definitely from the not only volume of books it put out, but the quality of it. And it's just so wide ranging. They have something for everybody. A lot of the Marvel books I enjoyed were like kind of secondary, off the beaten path characters, like a Moon Knight or a Blade or those type of stories. I wasn't on the X books particularly heavy, and I know that's not true for everybody, but it just wasn't. I've been struggling with ever since the Hickman dispersal and all that. I've been struggling to kind of marry my youthful love and veneration of the X books with what we got going on now, because I love what he was doing and where they were going, but it just felt so broken up and all over the place and inaccessible after a point. So that really, I don't know that level of excitement that I had a year or two ago is not nearly the same as it is now. But at the same time, there's books like we'll get into, like Cy Spurrier did with Uncanny Spider-Man, that a character Nightcrawler there's a lot of people's favorites. He did new, interesting, awesome things with that character, and explored it in ways that people haven't before. Did some crazy things with the retcon. Like I appreciate, like Marvel has all these flashes in the pan all over the place, but nothing feels united and cohesive. You know what I mean? It feels like a bunch of great chefs in one kitchen who's cooking a dish. There's one great chef making a dish over there, but nobody's really putting together a table service or a complete menu. Like whereas DC feels so much more comprehensive and that they have it all together. Anyway, excuse my rant. What do y'all want to get into first, man? Do you want? Oh, hold on. We got somebody backstage I got to bring in. This is one of his. This has got to be one of his big debuts. Our boy, one of the most knowledgeable people I know. The main man, E, is in the building. E, what up, brother? Thank you for coming through to join us tonight, bro. Man, we're doing great.
Of course. I realized it was December and I got to reach my quota for video appearances of the year. So,
this is a rare occasion. This guy's like a rare Pokemon, man. We just caught him, man.
Yeah, and I love it because he be saying the most profound things from the chat. Always has great opinions and even better taste. So I'm happy you came through and joined us tonight, bro.
I mean, those are all lies, but I appreciate that.
No, bro. Absolutely. All right, so I guess we'll start off with number 3 on the list. Let's start off with Marvel. Like we were just saying. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me go back to the start. Like we were just saying with Marvel, man. A lot of flashes in the pan, but not really a united vision. I feel like they were all over the place this year. Not a whole lot of long-running series, and I know that's been a complaint from retailers, is not having these guys that they can bank on every Wednesday or every month to come in and buy a certain series. And I know that hurts the back end. But I don't know. At the same time, despite the mistakes made and I kind of think the overall lack of editorial leadership at Marvel, they had some great books this year, man. Some of the best, like if you look at Jason Aaron's Punisher, I would dare say some of the best books of the year in certain cases. But yeah, I don't know. Let's just get into the list that that I kind of made up. First off, Moon Knight, straight off the bat, Jed McKay really, this is something he's been building for, I guess, 1.5, 2 years now. And man, and this run has just been so great throughout. This is one of their longest standing runs at this point in time. McKay is one of those writers that they're going all in on as far as this and Avengers. But I've loved Moon Knight. I've loved its up and downs. I know we're coming to the end of the run here, but just thoughts in general. Link, I know you've been in and out on Moon Knight, or
I kind of took a break about 2 years ago, like the fall of 2021, on new books, and I've been what's the word? In and out. Yeah, you said it. But Moon Knight, I read like the first 4 issues, I believe, and I haven't read it since then. But I've always wanted to get back to it. Moon Knight is one of my favorite like street level heroes. And McKay, yeah, like you said, he's one of the writers that Marvel was really banking on or going all in on in terms of like letting him do what he wants with an IP. But I'm gonna get back to it. I've heard good things. I know it's got a good fall. I've never really seen Moon Knight this. I don't want to say this popular. I guess that's the best word, but I've never seen so many people
I would say that.
talk about it.
I would say that though. Have we ever seen Moon Knight this popular? I don't think we have. I think he's really enjoyed. I think he had that kind of that underground run with Minch and Sienkiewicz or whatever, or Sienkiewicz, however you pronounce his name, back in the day. But I think like that notoriety and that edginess kind of lent himself to being a big blow up for Disney and for Marvel, in the modern times. I think there was a lot of guys who grew up reading that run and were kind of waiting for besides that run up until Charlie Houston and David Finch got a hold of him in the early 2000s, he really didn't have much going on, did he? I think that was like the run that really kind of solidified him, and then he kind of fell off. But when he came back with Warren Ellis, Jeff Lemire, you had all these great writers getting a hold of him, doing awesome things with him. And I think he's really enjoyed a renaissance, both in the books and like on screen here in the past decade or two. I don't think before that there was really much simmering for that dude. But I think there was a lot of guys who had that like original run when he went edgy and bad, that had that love for it. A lot of creators and that took it and did something with it. But Fable, either you guys reading Moon Knight / enjoying it?
I was reading. I'm not caught up completely. I'm probably about 5 issues behind. But I was loving Moon Knight. Jed McKay is one of my favorites since coming back to collecting comic books.
Same, bro. Same.
Yeah, and Marvel. I love what he did with Black Cat. Such a shame that more people didn't pick it up. So her story is spread across like 5 different little series and one-shots and annuals, but he told a great story in there. I wish more people would get a chance to read it. But he continues more of the same in this Moon Knight title. What he's really good at, for me, in my opinion, is creating a small cast of characters around the main character. So I think is super important.
So true.
Yeah,
so
and
true.
Lost on a lot of titles, I think, in my opinion. The people in this person's world is what the world should be about. It seems like too many times it's crossover city. It's like, oh, Wolverine's in town. Oh, here comes Thor. Oh, Captain America happens to be in this alleyway with us. You know what I mean? I enjoy what Jed McKay does by creating this world of characters around him, like the vampire receptionist lady that he has working for him. You know what I mean? Just
no, it's dope. And I like how he intersperses it. Some are new and some are characters from his past. So it kind of makes you curious as to and doing the investigation as to who these guys are, and and the art has been crazy throughout, I feel like. But yeah, how about E? Hey, you read this one? Are you reading Moon Knight at all, brother?
Yeah, I'm not caught up by any means, but I'd have to echo what everyone else is saying here. Jed McKay is arguably the most commercially viable and entertaining writer at Marvel at this point, which is why he's writing every single title that they have at this point. But the art's kinetic. It's kind of similar to the reason why I'm loving the book that you're going to be talking about next, I'm assuming, which is Miles Morales' Spider-Man. It's kinetic, it's full of energy, it's moving. Every page, you know, the splash pages pop, and the writing is fun. You know, like that says a lot. It doesn't get buried with all the, you know, the minutia of continuity and everything that could come along with Moon Knight, especially knowing the previous runs and what you have to deal with. So,
hell yeah, dude, great take. Yeah, I completely agree though. The artwork is kinetic. Like I keep thinking about that like moonlit glow, that aesthetic that permeates kind of every issue with Moon Knight's suit, and like how you always get that ambiance that kind of lights each page up or whatever. But I feel like they've done a great job at like maintaining that throughout the series. And I don't think they've renumbered this one, knock on wood, yet, have they?
About to,
yeah.
Well, there we go. I shouldn't have cursed it. Yeah, there we go.
yeah.
But yeah, man, I think, and yeah, I second what he's saying. This guy he's able to keep it kind of lightweight, not too heavy, where it's still got some humor, some dark humor to it. It's beautifully done. I think with characters,
Yo,
both
real quick,
past, present, and future. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
are they doing the Daredevil thing where it's like the same creative team just renumbering it, or is it a new creative team?
I think they're doing the Daredevil thing where it's the same creative team and they're renumbering it, but I could be wrong. Fellas, do y'all know? Aren't they just renumbering it for the end series?
I think you're correct there. Yeah, they're hyping up the quote unquote death.
Yeah, so it's going to be like a little, probably who knows however many issues to quote unquote kill Moon Knight or whatever, and then who knows from there. But yeah, great stuff though. Jed MacKay, shout out to him. I know Avengers. I don't have Avengers on this list. It hasn't been as strong to me. But man, I still recommend people, if you want a great 5-issue fun trade to read, go pick up his Taskmaster run. That shit is great. It's so much fun to read. And also Fable's recommendation, Black Cat is fire. Great art, a great story. Both of those trades are great Jed MacKay stories that are both like just so fun to read. Those are like vacation reads. I would recommend that you take those, like you can just digest it real quick in a couple hours, and just fun to read, man. Those are type of books you'll just enjoy reading and you will forget.
His track record is pretty good with in terms of Black Cat. I'm not familiar with her history at all. I don't know if she's ever had a series before, but MacKay's had like 3 series with Black Cat. What's like the total numbering of all the series?
I think the first round was like 1 through 12. Second round was like 1 through 10. And I think there's an annual 2 one-shots. The book she has with Mary Jane and Iron Cat. All of that is that. Like it would be issue 30 something of Black Cat, if you know what I mean, if we would have kept going. But yeah, it you know, I get it. People probably don't want to read Black Cat, but it was good. It was good. If you like Jed MacKay, definitely recommend it.
It was good enough for them to keep giving him miniseries after miniseries.
Well, yeah, right? I think Marvel believed in it. I just think the readers, you know, just weren't picking it up, and that's okay. That's okay. You know, she may not be that character for some people or a lot of people, you know. But I'm glad he turned me on to her. Right, because I'm like Link. I'm not really familiar with her myself. I just picked it off on a whim. I don't know why I even picked it up, but when I read it, I was like, "Oh, I like this," because he did the same thing he's doing in Moon Knight rather. He created a cast of characters around her that he pulled from the past, and it was great. It was just in this self-contained world, and the arc that she had with the Fox, which he's a Spider-Man character, if I'm not mistaken, the Fox, right? He's like a thief, a master thief or something like that.
And I don't know.
He supposedly trained her, and they had this amazing arc that I was really like into. So yeah, recommend wholeheartedly. Jed MacKay, top 5 writer at Marvel for sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and don't sleep on the Doctor Strange stories that he's had too. He's on series number 3 of that, right? Between the death of Doctor Strange, Clea Strange, Regular Strange. Those are all, you know, arguably one of Marvel's best books too. So
yeah, But those Alex Ross covers have not been quitting, and like you
Oh.
can tell he's a real fan of like 90s Strange, like some of like the story like directions and stuff, even the stuff he's gone with before like the series we're on now. What was it, just Strange before? Right? It was
Yeah,
just
exactly.
yeah. But yeah, dude. Shout out McKay, dude. One of the Marvel's best. Anyway, moving on. Miles Morales Spider-Man. Shout out to Taki. Shout out to Herm for this one. I was reading this one at first and I enjoyed it, but I really wouldn't have come back to it if it wasn't for Taki putting it on the Supreme Clientele episode and the issue list for our episode, dude. And it really got me go into the back issues and continuing to read this one moving forward. Like he said, the artwork has been amazing. I think a highlight of this issue. Now, guys, I'm going to tell y'all right now, I'm not going to remember most of the names of these creators on some of these books, unless it's maybe on the front cover. So please forgive me. I'm not that well prepared. It was everything I could do just to bring all these covers together tonight on these slides. So I apologize if y'all y'all want to shout out the creators in the comments, please feel free. If y'all know on the panel, please feel free to follow up on what I say. But yeah, man, I think Miles is the best Spider-Man book out there. I think all the Spider-Verse, Stan Slott stuff, Spider-Boy stuff was not for me this year. ASM has kind of been where it's been, but man, Miles remains, my favorite Spider-Man, my most, enjoyable Spider-Man story to read, whether it's this current run or the back issues here recently done on the character. But I don't know, man. I think this guy is right where he needs to be in terms of building his own gallery of characters, where they're going now, kind of with Hightail and stuff like this, building his own, like Taki was saying. We don't want to see Miles fighting Peter Parker's villains. You know what I mean? We want him to have his own world, his own set of characters. And I think that's where they're trying to build this. So I think it's been a great series, a largely unsung series. I know people do give it its props, but I think it's one of those series that Marvel is kind of slipping under the radar. But anyway, I'll turn it over to y'all. In the comments, anybody reading this, I know Herm, I know Taki is, y'all sound off on what y'all love about this. Link, I know we read this one for Supreme Clientele, bro. How you been feeling about Miles?
I said when we did that show that I was gonna get caught up, and I've been meaning to. I haven't gotten caught up yet, but what I read, it was fine. I've only read the one issue, but I've heard some of the guys in the backlog chat talk about how great the first couple issues were. That made me really want to check it out. I heard a lot about the art with the opening, like the first arc and stuff. Is that artist still on board, or is he coming back? Or are they coming back?
Frederici Vicente said, Taki. Thank you, Top. I think he is coming back, or if he hasn't been on board the entire time. I know he was definitely on board for the first arc, but I don't know. I think he's definitely has plans of coming back, though. It seems like they've tried to keep up with the since, regardless. Yeah.
Yeah, the art that was in the Blade issue was fine, but I did, from the stuff I've seen from the opening arc, that was very distinct. So I hope they come back. But they've been doing good with Miles from what I've heard. I haven't been on Miles either. I collected like the first 3 issues of Saladin Ahmed's run, and then I fell off. But I heard he's been in good hands. I've not heard anything
bro.
bad about
that runs
Miles
fire,
run.
bro. You got to check that one out. The Ahmed run's really good. I really enjoyed that one. Yeah. Anyway, Fable, how about you, bro? You been reading this one at all?
Yeah, I'm not caught up on this one, but yeah, I've been reading Miles since the Saladin Ahmed run, and I often said that this should be the main Spider-Man. Like, Miles should be in ASM. It should be Miles Morales Spider-Man. It should be ASM. But it's what we have, and I agree with you guys. It's the better Spider-Man title. This is the one to read. The last volume was great. This volume starting out great, and yeah, like getting into this, I think is a good idea because his story is still being told at this point in time, right? As long as he's been out a decade, but there's not a lot of lore with him, surprisingly. So yeah, this is a great time to get into Miles. because a lot of it is fresh, you know. This is that Spider-Man reboot that we need, you know, like
Yes.
a kid again, the spirit of a young guy getting into his powers, learning his family dynamics, learning his friendship dynamics. You know what I mean? It's a great title, definitely.
Absolutely. Hell yeah, bro. E, how about you, man? You've been reading? Are you up to are you like?
Yes.
I'm not up to date, but I've been enjoying this one nonetheless. How about you?
Oh yeah, I just got up to date here recently, and it's a fantastic run. I'm loving it, and like I think you hit the nail on the head. Like you can't throw Peter villains at him, right? It's got to be Miles Morales, and like shout out to the lineage of the creators of this character, right? Because I feel like they built him up over, which is crazy to say, like the last couple decades, right? But they built him up right. They made him his own character. Bendis and Pacelli brought him on the stage doing it the correct way, like making him his own thing, and everyone is built off of that, over each and every single run. And this is just continuing that tradition. Like, I mean, I love Misty Knight being like the mentor to Miles. That makes so much sense, and it's so awesome. Like I just love seeing that kind of stuff. And spoilers if you're not caught up, but Colleen Wing, if you know Misty's gonna be there, Colleen Wing's gonna show up, her helping out too, just it makes it so much better. And even the fill-in artists, Vincentini hasn't been there all the time. The fill-in artist, I don't say equally as good, man, but they are style, and they're just this much off.
And there's something to be said. Like I know it's not like probably their the top of their wish to go in and like kind of like bend their style and make it mimic another artist, but at the same time, like doing that and doing that well deserves commendation and deserves to be like highlighted, because I feel like that's essential to keeping a run relevant and current. And like a lot of people with that jarring artwork, like Incredible Hulk did not do that job well. Like it was just some parts of that were just a really rough transition. So I feel like, I don't know, being able to pull that off well is a feat in itself. But hell yeah. Let me get to the comments real quick. I saw a couple good ones. Shout out to everybody. I saw my boy Chill in here. Chill out, man. Thank you for always coming through, bro. We love you. Happy holidays, brother. Herm said Vicente did some amazing books on the Spencer Spidey run. Okay. Did not know that. And Taki said they're back for Gang War. So we'll have them for that long at least. But Miles is the modern Daredevil, says Herm. Every run is good since the Bendis days. And I think, like Eric said it best, dude, they did such a great job at growing this character naturally. I think with the black dad, the what is it? Is it Puerto Rican or Dominican mother?
Puerto Rican.
But like we have those two different nationalities, so you're automatically going to have a diverse and invested fan base. Then you put him in New York City and Brooklyn. I feel like that ups the ante. I don't know, man. I just think it's like you look at the creation of Miles versus the creation of Spider-Boy. It's night and day compared to like a how-to of how to grow a character the right way organically, attracting maybe a new part of the fan base that hasn't been attracted to like a normal nerdy white kid from Queens before. I don't know. It was just brilliant to me, and I think that's going to stand the test of time. Sure. I think Miles will give Peter a run for his money down the line if he's not already doing so. I mean, you look at the animated movies. Yeah. So anyway, one of my books, my best book of the year on when I got the chance, shout out to my boy Lost in Comics to appear on his show. I just wanted to give a shout out to a book I knew was going to kind of fall through the cracks. I know this is, a lot of people's best of is Ice Cream Man and Swan Songs and Traveling to Mars, and rightly so. But this book was such an amazing reinvention of the character. The story arc to bring Maria back as like the personification of Frank's reckoning. Issue 10 with him kind of going on that godlike rampage where he's got full on the powers of the beast and he can fly, and like he's taking out child sex traffickers at 30,000 feet, and there's head and body parts raining from the sky, and fucking Maria finds out, like we have that beautiful flashback scene in the middle of the same issue. Maria finds out that Frank hasn't been cheating on her. He's been going to watch executions at Rikers. And like, you know, he's got to go to the bar and drink it all. Like, and she comes home and she's like, you know, I can still smell it on him. Like, it's a lover. It was so beautiful and poetic and put Frank Castle on a light that we've never seen him. Like, he's not doing this shit because he wants to wipe out the bad guys. He's just a sadist. He's just a fucking psychopath, man. And he gets off on it. And and if it doesn't fit in his little box of like him ridding the world of another scumbag, like he went to Rikers the one night and the execution got stalled by the governor at the last minute. So he went to the bar and just pummeled the shit out of a dude just for no reason because he had to find an out. Like, yo, so real, so visceral, so poetic. A side of the character, like this nuts and bolts, meat and potatoes, kill 'em all type of character that we never thought possible, man. I thought, like I said on Chris's show, dude, we could have ended it. You could have ended the character right here, like on this run. I thought it was that good, and it said that much about a character that I hadn't said before. The art was fucking ridiculous. Shout out to Jesus Saez. He went off. I felt like he only got better issue after issue. Paul Azaceta with the flashbacks did his goddamn thing. The covers were crazy. Like, so many great interactions. Like the interactions with the Avengers, like Doctor Strange putting, like, him and Doctor Strange fighting in the air and Doctor Strange doing those mystical claymore mines and like Frank Castle flying through the fucking air with smoke coming out of us. Like, it was, dude, this shit was and I'm a Garth Ennis, Steve Dillon, give me Barracuda, Punisher Max all day. But dude, this was something different. This really went to a place that I never thought it could have gone before. Yeah, Fable, I know Link's gone real quick. What did you think about this one, brother?
Agree with you 100%, my brother. This title was hot since issue 1, man. I remember when it came out, I read it and I was like, wow, this was really good. Saez definitely made an impression on me with his artwork. And Azaceta, man, with those flashbacks.
Dude, so good.
Fucking fantastic. And I also want to give a shout out to the 3 minis that came, the 3 one-shots that came out, the war journals that were written by Groenbeck.
Ooh.
Those were also very good and tied in heavily. They showed what Frank was doing when he was away from his wife. And
okay, I got to check those out. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I didn't read them yet. I got to check those out, bro.
Really good stuff. Definitely recommend. So it's really well, how many issues are this? 10? It was only 10?
12. It was 12. Yeah.
So it's really like 15 if you get those war journals. They're fantastic also. But yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, man. This story captivated me from the second I picked it up. I couldn't wait for every issue. I understand that people had a issue with them recontextualizing Frank in a way where, you know, the murder of his wife and child was his breaking point, but in all actuality, he's just a Dexter, basically.
And Maria was fed up. That's what you find.
Yeah.
Like, in this thing, he retconned it. Maria was going to ask for a divorce the day after the massacre in the park. So,
right,
you know, Frank, like Maria was fed up. She realized that her husband was basically an uncurable psychopath, and she had to get out.
And I like what Jason Aaron said about the story, which I think makes total sense. Frank is a mass murderer. At the end of the day, you know, whether it's for a good cause in his mind or whatever it is that he's doing, he's still, you know, one of the biggest killers of all time. His story cannot end with a happy ending, with a bow tie, with him running off in the sunset with Maria. Just doesn't make sense for the kind of guy he is. So when you say the poetic stuff, I agree with you. This was a poetic ending to such a crazy
that was like
ass character. And to be honest with you, I want to see what he's doing off in the wasteland with them kids, man. Training a bunch of new assassins. Who knows? It would be crazy, man. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but bro, that joint with when Maria was in front of a bunch of those screens or whatever, and she was like, show me everything he's ever done in the name of like our family, or you know what I mean?
Right.
And like just her being like completely like beyond disgusted at that, dude. That was like one of the best moments, bro. Great call. Absolutely. E, how about you, brother? I know you read this one. What did you think of it?
I mean, it's hard for anyone not to say that they loved this. And I know that there's people out there that, hey, this wasn't their flavor of Frank. And I get that. But this was a writer that knew that this was going to be the last mark that he was going to put on Marvel, possibly ever, but at the very least for a long time. And the dude put it right there on the table. He said, this is what I got. This is the best of the best that I'm going to deliver. This is what I'm leaving you. And man, did he just hit it so hard. And, similar to what we were talking about with Miles, we said like, oh, when there's fill-in artists, it was so close to, to the original artist that it didn't feel out of place. This is the inverse of that. They knew that they were not going to be able to get Jesus to do every single page of every single issue. So what did they do? They built in flashbacks that it made sense, where a fill-in artist, or I shouldn't even say a fill-in artist, because let's be honest, like the art was still at the same caliber, right?
Yeah.
Just very different. But they built that into the story so that it made sense cohesively and that it didn't take you out of the experience. And here's the one thing I will say. People that hate this story, I feel like you need to give it a chance, because the honest to God truth, while this is not the Punisher that you're accustomed to, it has reinforced every single thing that you loved about the Punisher. But you have to read it, you have to understand it, and you're gonna see that, because like you said, the scene in the where they're going to go to the park, with the revelation that brings. They had every opportunity to take a cheesy out with this. They had a lot of opportunities to do some stupid stuff with both the Punisher and his wife. And guess what they did? They bypassed all of that, and they gave you a mature story that made sense and reinforced what you love about him and grew him as a character.
Dude, so true. And it was like, I love how Maria went from like being the sleepy kind of like not knowing what's going on, like resurrected zombie type woman, to like being like a full force of nature, dude. That was so
I'll
sick.
be honest, I was rolling my eyes, kind of like in anticipation of being like, oh, Maria's going to be the next Punisher. Here it comes. Like, I know they're going to do it. And they didn't do it. They didn't do the stupid thing that I expected Marvel to do. So kudos to Jason Aaron. Kudos to Marvel.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. A lot of fans in the house tonight. Oh shit. Okay, I'm back. Oh shit, he's talking. Can you start over? Fuck you, Nick. Also, Vern. Dude, what the fuck, E? Why don't you do way more shows? You're great at this. Dude, we've been telling him. Shout out the boy, man. Shout out his great takes. We appreciate you being here tonight, E. Love you for joining us. But yeah, let's move on. I'm like super behind schedule. I was planning to be done with Marvel. And we're like 3 slides in, but I love it though. I love it. We might have to break this up into like a second part show. All right. So one book I didn't read, one book I did read, but all right. So full disclaimer on this list, guys. There's some of these books that I didn't read, but either the guys here on this panel, the guys, I know out there in the community recommended it. I trust their taste and their judgment enough to know it's a good enough book to belong on this list. Doctor Strange Fall Sunrise. I like Terad more. I know some people don't. I love Silver Surfer Black. I like his art style. I want to get this Treasury edition. I tried to read issue 1 of this. This joint just didn't really sit with me. I didn't really give it any other time after that. And I don't feel like that's fair to the book or to the artist, like especially as talented as he is. I'd still just love flipping through this Treasury edition at my LCS the other day. I'd still just love to own it off just basic like beauty of the art type, not even have to understand the story. I think the art's great. Blade, I think, has been one of the, I could put it up there with Punisher as one of the best Marvel books of the year, dude. Been a great start by Brian Hill and makes me super excited for his Ultimate Black Panther. Had so many great moments in it. Like Blade fucking like waking up from after a night like a night with a chick in the bedroom with a helicopter getting ready to machine gun him like outside the bedroom window. Homeboy jumping out of the bedroom window, taking care of business in the helicopter and jumping back, like with that crazy, what is it? The Casagrande? Who's doing that? Yeah,
Elena Casagrande.
Yeah, Casagrande art, dude, has been wonderful. So many great action scenes in that. It's everything you want from the Blade series. It's been A1. I have zero complaints with that. But yeah, Doctor Strange Fall Sunrise is just book I need to give more time to. Thoughts on these two real quick, fellas? Link, I'll let you go first, brother.
Haven't read The False Sunrise, and Blade has been good.
Oh yeah, Fable. How about you?
I haven't read Fall Sunrise, but I am a big Tradmore fan ever since Silver Surfer Black. So
Same.
definitely can't wait to get into that. And I agree with you. If it was just for the art, I'd probably buy it anyway, right? Like, so I love the guy. And Blade, yeah, Blade is great. Also, Elena Casagrande, I've loved her since she did Black Widow, with Kelly Thompson. Her artwork in that book was fantastic, and she just I'm glad that people are turning on to her more and more with this Blade series. And you know, I'm gonna pick up Blade anyway, right? I love Blade. It's Blade,
Right? Yeah, for real. Oh yeah. E, how about you, bro? You read you read either of these?
Dude, nobody really read Fall Sunrise. Let's be
Right?
honest. It was wild. Like you couldn't. There was no understanding that. Fun fact, though, did you know that if you lick the pages, it's actually hallucinogenic? Like, I mean, you will start tripping if you actually ingest a little bit of this. It's balls out wild. It's crazy. Blade has no right being as good as it is, though. Like, I don't know. It's Marvel's best book. It really is. Like, and the way that they captured everything you love about the movie, because if you close your eyes, Wesley Snipes is Blade. That's the image that you get. Everyone knows it. Top tier, it is what it is. And they capture everything about that.
They really do, dude. It's been so good. And I love this like other threat from the dimensions of the dark or whatever, and he's killed the only thing that was supposed to be able to stop it. And now, like, you know, the fate of the whale is basically in his hands. And I loved like the introduction like of his daughter. I love like the side characters or whatever they have moving around in this one. I'm curious to see where it all goes. I know he's getting busy in Miles Morales, but it would be cool if we got like Nick said, if we got like a little lined up continuity between those, like if we got like a Miles crossover into Blade, and I know we've already gotten Blade into Miles, but that would be cool. But like Cheel said, my Blade doesn't pay his taxes. Thanks, bro. But yeah, been a great run. Clobbering time, dude. I know this one kind of got slept on. This was one of my favorite series of the year from Marvel. Written and illustrated by Steve Scroach. He's been around since the 90s. Been around for quite a while, but this thing was beautiful, dude. And basically captured Thing versus this time traveling villain. I don't really know how else to put him, but we had some so each issue was kind of Thing teamed up with like a different ally. One was Wolverine, one was Doom, I think one was Doctor Strange. You know, and each kind of going up against this time bin and different situations. But a limited series, I thought this was like one of those really great limited runs that Marvel had this year. You know, I'm all in on anytime somebody is. I'm always trying to, like I've said before, I'm always trying to give time to anybody who's writing and drawing their own project or, you know, doing all that heavy work. But I really enjoyed this. I know I'm kind of a biased sucker for Fantastic Four stories with Doom in them, but this joint was genuinely enjoyable. The artwork was killer throughout. It came out on time. Yeah, Doom's in it, bro. I think it's issue 4. I want to say that him and Doom team up, and Doom saves the day. Doom saves the day because he's got a pocket-sized battleship that expands in any dimension or something, and he basically pulls it out of his pocket and he throws it and expands and kind of saves the day. But it's super dope. There's a great one with Wolverine where he gets like half his body burnt off. There's like a great visual of that. It's just like Wolverine up top and then just like nothing but like a little chicken bone at the bottom. You see like Thing get all his little squares pulled out like individually by this bad guy in this one. There's a bunch of crazy visual artwork in this. Very cool. So this was yeah, Doom is the best plot armor ever, Cheel. Facts. But yeah, this one was fun though. This one was like, I think, one of those more slept on series. I don't know did any guys read this? I don't know if you did. This one was kind of cool under the radar. No, fair enough.
This one I have stacked. It's like,
Cool.
Yeah, it's only I think 4 or 5 issues. It's definitely worth a a trade weight or grab them singles and see what it's about. Cool Leo Romero variant on the left there with Thing.
I was going to say, like, I basically didn't hear anything you guys were saying because I'm staring at this variant and looking at like the Kirby crackle dots on the perspective of these rocks coming at you, and it's just blowing my mind.
Yeah, that's Leonardo Romero who's doing the art on Birds of Prey right now. But yeah, that, and then the Steve Scroce cover on the right, and then he did the cover A's for the rest of it. So shout out to him. But all right, moving on real quick. Murder World. I thought this was a great little series. I think they fucked it up by having it on like these different titles. This was Jim Zub and Ray Fox, I want to say, wrote this one together. But this was fun, dude. Followed like 3 or 4 contestants who basically got lured by Arcade into false promises. Like one was a social media influencer. One, they each had these promises to come to this competition and get something that get their true heart's desire. But really, it was Arcade luring them in. They split it up with these weird issues where like it was kind of remnant. Like I think Murder World Wolverine was a bunch of different Wolverines attacking them, and Arcade had it set up where these different stages where it would be like these different heroes.
Yeah, it would be different heroes.
It was like Android Spider-Man, and Android Wolverine, and Android Avengers attacking these characters trying to survive this game. But I remember issue 1 ending on a bang. It got convoluted and kind of tossed around because it was like all these different number ones. Murder World Spider-Man was a number 1. Murder World Wolverine. I think there was a Murder World Avengers. Anyway, it was still fun. I thought it was a series that definitely deserves some love. Did any of y'all read this one?
Tried to make a conscious effort to skip over minis that weren't going to go anywhere, but I'm happy to hear that it's a good one because it's definitely worth a trade weight read then.
Yeah, I've read this one. This one is really good. I definitely recommend it. It's like Squid Games or Hunger Games or any of that stuff. A bunch of people going through Murder World where it's a bunch of android superheroes, but it's really entertaining and it doesn't end the way you think it's going to end. Jim Zub is really good, man. Isn't he the guy writing Conan right now?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, he's really good. This story, you're right, Stu. They didn't do it service by breaking it up into these like little one shots. They should have just did a Murder World 5-issue mini.
Yeah, and maybe wait for the trade weight like discounted clearance on this one. Like I don't know if it's like. Full price trade by but definitely like maybe the discount. It's a fun read, dude. Like anyway, Planet of the Apes was one of the series I thought kind of got slept over by David F. Walker. I know we've all loved Incredible Hulk for the most part. Art's been crazy. Story's a little slow, but we're getting there. She-Hulk. Dude, this is I think one of the most slept on series of the year. I think the Jen Bartel covers have been crazy. That's a George Perez variant on the right there with Jack of Hearts. But I've loved this one. Like Fable was saying, and I think in our bag shot, dude, like I would never really be up on a relationship type comic or like I don't even know what to type this. Like it just feels like an everyday type of comic, especially for this character. But this is so much fun.
It's a slice of life. Yeah. If you're into, if you want to see She-Hulk doing a lot of comic book shit, don't read this one. but if you do read it, you might stay for the ride. You know what I mean? That's what happened to me. I bought 3 issues of this thing way before ahead of time, and I was kind of stuck with them, right? Like I read the first issue, I'm like, what the hell is this? Read the second issue, I'm like, oh, this is pretty good, but is she gonna fight or is she gonna do any superhero shit? Read the 3rd issue or 4th issue, and I'm like, man, is she gonna get with Jack of Hearts or Jack? I wonder what's gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Thanks.
I got caught up in it, man. So I you might be pleasantly surprised at how fast you get hooked to this book. It's crazy.
I agree. And what Taki says, the Fight Club is super cool. That she has with like Thing.
Yeah.
And Titanium or whatever. Yeah, and
I think Thing is in it too.
Yeah, Thing's in it. Titania. Yeah. And like I love that. I love like we were talking about like the odd couple, not to spoil too much, but like the kind of odd couple that she goes up against, and like why they're after her and what they want from her. Like it makes sense, but it's all funny and quirky, and it works in ways that you can't necessarily explain it. Like
it's Marvel's Archie book. I like
Yes.
That's a
good way to say it.
That's a great quote.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
Thanks, Aaron. Great call, brother. E, you reading this one at all?
No, there's only so many books I can get, but like,
Fair
you
enough.
may regret it like crazy because, like, it's kind of funny. The older you get, the more you kind of gravitate away from getting the traditional superhero books. Like, it's still good to get, and I love those things, but slice of life is kind of where it's at for me. It just a comfort read would be great. So this is going to be next on the list.
Yeah, this is exactly that, bro. Definitely. Hell yeah. All right, dude. This is one of my favorite Marvel books of the year. Hell yeah. And one of the best, I think, Uncle Frank covers. This one was all right for me. I like the Loki one. But yeah, dude, Dan Waters did his damn thing on this one, man. This was fantastic. A great little miniseries. About this ship that Loki has constructed from the fingernails of the damned. Yes, that is as gnarly as it sounds. It's full of woe and wants to cause woe everywhere it goes. So he kind of has it safeguarded until some frost giants busted out, accidentally ram it into the world tree, splintering it into these pieces that Loki has to go and collect before they become powerful, basically in the wrong hands. That's more or less the setup. And like how each issue, you get your general setup, and each issue is him going to collect one of these pieces of this ship and write what's going on is very cool. Just both in like the events going on and the look at like Loki, his personal character, his shiftiness, his past, his history, who he ultimately is. It's not anything like the Disney Plus series, but it is in the same sense that, like, I don't know, there's a little bit of a mini character arc going on here. I think there's a little bit of change in the Loki that you get at the beginning of the series versus the Loki who's gone through this journey of like collecting all these pieces. But yeah, man, this one was definitely a highlight of the year for me from Marvel. And y'all, Link, I know you read this one with me for a couple of issues, bro. You want to speak on this one real quick?
I enjoyed this one. I agree with you. I think Dan Waters definitely had a nice little character arc from where Loki started towards where you ended up where they ended up at the end. But yeah, this was a good one. I actually remember the story. I say that because I'm not the biggest fan of Loki, and Dan Waters isn't necessarily one of my favorite writers, but this is one that kind of stuck with me. So I got to give it credit for that. Made me want to see more of it. I remember thinking that, like, I'd like to see that Loki kind of like integrate more into, like, not like maybe like a time variant, but he's like in something along those lines. But I wanted to see more of that Loki's character arc. But this was a cool little mini series. Who did the art? Oh no, I was thinking of like Peralta. Peralta, okay.
Yeah, Peralta. I think it's German or
I did like that.
Yeah, the art was great. Yeah. Fable E, how about you guys? You guys read this one? You're muted.
I'm mute.
No, this one I haven't gotten to, but I do have it stacked. It's like 4 issues, right?
Yeah, this one's worth it, man. This one's really
I have
good.
it stacked.
Oh yeah. How about you, E?
Oh, dude, I loved this. I mean, if you were talking Marvel alone, this is probably going to be in my top 3 for sure. Like, I feel not to diverge into other titles and publishers or whatever, but Dan Waters, I feel like he leveled up this year. Between this, The Seasons Have Teeth, his backup stories, and Detective, he's really good at writing a character-driven story, and a character like Loki is like one of the best people you can use to really, weave a tale around that, like just put in those little pieces, like the ship made of fingernails, man. It was just
so crazy. Yeah.
And I love that journey.
Yeah, I love that bit, like in the beginning too, like where how he doesn't realize how quickly the frost giants are gonna like teach themselves how to read or whatever. Like he's he's like content in leaving them in the library and not expecting them to like teach themselves how to read and figure things out. And then of course they do. I just love that character, and I think he's lends himself so naturally to comic book stories and the universe. I just think with who he is, like the Norse mythology and the god of obviously the god of stories, the trickster god. I just love seeing him well done anywhere. So yeah, shout out to Marvel for doing it right both on book and screen with him this year. Dude, Fantastic Four, been up and down. Great Alex Ross covers. Issue 4 was a highlight for me with issue 4 and issue 7. Issue 7 was Doom's introduction. Issue 4 was Reed and Sue kind of in this random town that was basically they found out populated by Doom bots that basically we saw. It was one of those stories that gave you a great insight into the character without ever seeing the character in the book. And so we found out that Doom, this old lady, had been kind of Doom in his childhood. I forget, it younger in life, either his childhood or before. And he had basically created this entire town populated with these Doom bots, all in a seemingly, ordinary, each different citizens, each with a, all to make it seem like an ordinary functioning town, but all basically to serve this old woman. And it was super cool. Them kind of Reed and Sue kind of deducing that. I like the way this series started out with each team member was introduced in their own comic. Like issue 1 was I think Johnny, and then issue 2 was Ben, issue 3 was Reed and Sue, and then eventually the team got together and it kind of went from there. It's had its ups and downs, but I think Ryan North is a true FF fan. I think he's done some great things with it. It's still a series I enjoy reading. I think the interior art and the by Coelho and stuff it could be better, but that's my one knock on it. But it's still a series I enjoy reading today. I love this Simone Bianchi cover thing variant on the left.
Yeah.
And then I just picked one of my favorite Alex Ross covers. I mean, really, you can pick any Alex Ross cover from this run and not go wrong. But yeah. Any guys want to say anything about Fantastic Four before we move on? Anything striking you about this one?
No, but I hate to do this, Stu, but I got to dip. I got to head out.
All good, bro. All good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming through, man.
Yeah, man. Guys, you guys have a great show. You see what I mean? You got to come on more, brother.
Bro.
You got to come on more.
Let's see what I can do.
But yeah, man. Thanks again for having me. Can't wait to see you guys tomorrow on the Christmas special. And everybody sub up to Supreme Clientele, guys. These guys are killing it, man. This is a great show. I look forward to it every Wednesday, man. Or
Appreciate
Tuesday.
you, bro.
Sorry, the new night is Tuesday.
yeah. Tuesday at 9. What time are you getting down tomorrow again?
We're doing 9 p.m. Eastern.
9 p.m. Eastern on One Collection Down on YouTube. Y'all come through for the holiday episode of PCP,
all these sexy gentlemen will be there tomorrow.
I can't wait. It's gonna be so fun. Can't wait. Oh yeah,
guys,
Station,
love
bro.
you.
Love you, bro.
Check you later.
Yeah, have a good night, brother. All right, of course, FF, and then the last of, like we were talking earlier, man, Cy Spurrier, one of like the most unsung comic books I think of the year, and like just a great title. I gotta shout out my boy Link for this one, because I wouldn't be reading this one if it wasn't for some of his recommendations on the Supreme Clientele episodes, man. But I think this has been such a fascinating dive into Nightcrawler. You think it's just going to be like one of these wacky alternate Spider-Man tales, but really it's been a deep dive into Kurt Wagner and who he is, where he comes from, and the kind of the dichotomy and all these people that he's been trying to keep happy for however long. I think it's been with Mystique, with Destiny, with the women in his life. It's just been great. It's been a really cool, fun, unexpected book for me. But yeah, Link, you're the one who brought this to me, bro. Anything you want to say about this one?
Yeah, this book's been it's not, nothing's gonna change your life, but it's just been fun. I'll admit it was the title that kind of got me interested, and the concept of it, it kind of took me back to like early 2000s Marvel. when like Matt Fraction was writing Punisher, War Journal, and Frank briefly like put on like a Captain America outfit because Captain America had just been killed, and so Frank was like, someone's got to fill that void. But you know, it sounds goofy, but at the time it like made sense as to why Frank's going down this route, you know. And I guess it doesn't really make sense why Kurt is in a Spider-Man outfit, but it's cool to see Kurt be off on his own, and you know, he's a top tier character, man. Like he's been, I think it, like you said, it's been a good like trek down his history and his relationships, because he's been such a people pleaser his whole life, you know, and he's finally on his own, and it's very new ground for him. And I'm just glad to see Marvel take the chance. I hope it's something that kind of, I know Kurt's an X-Men, right? Nightcrawler's an X-Men, so he's always going to be intertwined. But I'd like to see them kind of flirt with this idea, you know? He can still be what do they call him? The creepy crawler, and be part of the X-Men, you know? Wolverine was an Avenger, and he was an X-Men at the same time. So, you know, why not? But it's been a fun one, a pleasant surprise. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it. I knew I was going to check it out just based off the concept, but it's been a pleasant surprise. Cy Spurrier has shown continuously that he's got a big admiration and love for Kurt, and I respect that. Yeah, it's like absolutely. Every series he does, he finds a way to write something about Kurt, so I like that.
Oh yeah. E, how about you? You been reading this one at all, brother?
No, and to be honest with you, I'm going to rant for a second here because I'm pretty pissed off. So Marvel Editorial handcuffs Cy Spurrier through the entirety of the Krakoan age. They give him like 4 series, which is the same series, but they retitle it and renumber it every single time. Yeah. And they give him a one-shot to end the story that he was trying to tell in the very first one here. They won't, I mean, you're talking about a writer that has wrote fascinating stories about superheroics with mental illness, right? You're talking about a writer that's written a book like Coda, where it's about a reluctant hero trying to go through, you know, this adventure that he is being drugged through, even though he realizes at the end this is truly what he was meant to do. And you handcuff him, and you won't let him tell the story that he wants to tell. But now you guys are telling me that he's gotten that chance and I've missed it. So yeah, so now I got to go back in and read Uncanny Spider-Man because it's the Kurt story that I wanted this entire time. Damn it.
Yeah, and it's like. And go ahead, bro.
I was just gonna say, I didn't expect it. There's a major revelation in this story to Kurt's history that pretty big deal.
They gave him some serious latitude when it comes to retcon. So like, yeah, I completely agree with what you're saying though. It's like, I mean, what do you guys really need to give him a little bit of extra leash? Like the guy is a proven winner time and time again.
But then again,
I mean, not to
writing the Flash now. You know, this is him leaving Marvel.
Oh yeah,
putting it right there on the table. This is what you missed,
man.
To be honest, to tag on E's mini rant, that whole lineup of stable of X writers under the Krakoan age were messed up. Like, you know, the people that should have been there, like Kelly Thompson, who's proven to have written great X-Men stories, Cy Spurrier. I feel like there's one other that I would put on there, but no, they went.
I'm sure there.
Ed Brisson's a fine writer, but I personally never read anything by Ed Brisson where he's always been, you know, he gets the job done. But I've never been wowed by Ed Brisson.
That's so true.
I heard his Old Man Logan was cool, but you know he was like one of the writers under Hickman's reign, and that's such a random tangent. But yes, the Krakoan age, yeah. Instead of like the Cy Spurriers, the Kelly Thompsons, who should have been writing titles under that banner, we had Leah Thompson and the one who shall not be named, Tingy Howard.
All right, don't do that. We don't want to.
Yeah,
we don't want to get nicked. We don't want to get nicked all worked up. Lord knows. All right, let's move on to DC real quick. I'm so sorry we took fucking over an hour from Marvel. Jesus, they don't even deserve that, do they? All right. Human Target, great. Human Target was awesome. Greg Smallwood. What more do we need to say? My personal favorite issue was the one where he thought he was getting chased by Batman. I also love this Gnort issue, though. I thought that was, dude. But Greg Smallwood just went. The story was okay. The story didn't necessarily. If this was a story with another artist, I don't know. But man, Greg Smallwood really just did his thing here. Made it worth the wait too with the gap they had in between issues. But yeah, y'all enjoy Human Target?
Haven't
No
read it
way.
yet. It's on my to-do list though.
Fair enough. How about you? How about you, E?
I haven't finished it yet, but I've enjoyed every single thing that I've gotten to. Human Target's had a lot of really cool stories in the past, and this is continuing that lineage. And Greg Smallwood, like you said, I mean, it's just so good.
Do you have any recommendation for past like Human Target books? Because I don't really have any. Go ahead and hit me because I don't.
Yeah, Peter Milligan, man, he wrote a really, really good.
Oh,
I think it was a 12-issue series on it. But yeah, it's definitely worth a read.
Oh yeah, Peter
It's
Milligan.
90s Vertigo, so.
Oh yeah, I'm reading that Shade the Changing Man you guys just recommended. Peter Milligan. Oh yeah, so I'll have to check that out. Batman, I think this has been one of the best like big big two runs by a consistent writer and Chip. I've been loving the multiverse saga. Whatever was not like as great to me as Failsafe was, but I still love the stuff he's doing with the Zur and I love where he's going with it. I know Chip's got a plan. I know Jorge Jimenez is going to be the artist for much of that plan. So this is a book I have a lot of faith in moving forward that I really enjoyed. That not a lot of like monthly titles this big that I dare say as big as Batman that I really enjoy and look forward to month to month as much as this one. But I don't know. I know Link. Do you share my enthusiasm? I don't think so.
No, I'm not entirely caught up. I didn't even read the first arc of Failsafe. I read the first couple issues, and I missed the multiverse stuff or the saga stuff. But I remember people complaining about the art change. When I saw the art, it didn't bother me much. I know
it was just a jarring. It was like a jarring transition,
Yeah, I get that. I get that. But I read the Batman. I forget what it was called, but where everyone was fighting each other. It was like his proteges against him and Damian. I forget gang. It's not Gang War. That's Spider-Man and Blade.
Gotham War. Heartbreaking, dude.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. I gotta get caught up. I think I'm like an issue or two behind, but yeah, Batman has been consistently. It's solid. It's I can't complain about it.
Oh yeah. How about you, E? You keeping up with it?
Oh yeah. It's between Batman and Detective. It's like two great tastes, but it's like the flip side of the coin, right? Like Batman is definitely the action-oriented, fast-paced comic. And to be honest with you, I was kind of gonna be like, it's pretty good. But then Link mentioned Gotham War, and it just totally reminded me of that whole issue where he's fighting the family and what happens with Dick Grayson and their fight, right? And what happens with Damian, where Damian's like, I gotta help my dad, and then Bruce abandons him.
Yeah, he leaves him like to get picked up by the police.
Just like, yeah, he handcuffs him to the post, and it's just like, like you're a liability. And then what he does to Jason, it was like, I mean, I'm getting goosebumps honestly thinking about it. That was such a masterfully written story. Yeah, that very well could be in running for my issue of the year, like single comic of the year. It was that well done.
Yeah, we're still not talking about what he did to Jason Todd enough, man. To basically, that man gets triggered, a panic attack triggered anytime his adrenaline level spike. Like that is fucking what? Like after everything you put that boy through, like you're gonna dose him with that because he's too dangerous, or you don't trust like his thought process. That shit is wild as hell. Like, and then like his broken conversation with like the Vandal Savage's daughter, and like how he's like, I can't. There's something wrong with me, and she's like, well, then I'm sorry, but I don't have much use for you. And he's just there alone at the end. Like it's just, man, that was a brutal issue.
Yeah, it's like, hey, Bruce, you let this kid die on your watch, right? And this is how you do him.
Dude, it's crazy. And then like I felt like some of the strength of that got kind of mired in the tie-ins and like all that, but like yeah, man, I felt that was like a really strong and a really valid story arc for Batman. Like definitely going too far, too much to the letter of the law, where these other younger kids are like, yo, dude, this is not the way to rehabilitate people or to like approach this problem. So I don't know. That was dope. I still think there's more to be explored there, regardless. But
Yeah.
yeah, excited to see where it goes, especially with Jimenez and art. Just this year, I remember that anniversary issue was crazy, where Jimenez adopted different styles. He did like Batman '89. He did a Frank Miller homage. Like he was just like, we got the Batman with the shark repellent. Like everything was, that issue was just like him just showing out. So that guy's one of the best to do it these days.
Yeah,
But,
dude, I didn't know Jimenez had those tools in his utility belt.
Man,
but, like he busted them out.
He really did. He really brought it. I mean, he brings it every issue, and especially like it's so great to hear Chip and other guys talk about how fast he is. Just like we know, if that guy's going to be on a monthly book, he's going to make his deadlines, and we're going to get our art. So, yeah, shout out to him. Dark Knights of Steel. I know it took a long time, but I thought this was a really cool, unique 1602 type take on the DC universe. I think Tom Taylor is great at those Elseworld type stories. I feel like that's one of his, bread and butter with Deceased and Justice. I feel like he does a good job building those worlds. World's Finest, man. One of the strongest DC books month to month. Mark Waid's DC Renaissance has been kick-ass. He's just killed it. Like, I feel like he's so thorough in this book. The Kingdom Come tie-ins have been great. But yeah, I don't know. Either you guys read/enjoyed either one of these this past year?
I'm behind on these. Yeah.
Dude, Dark Knights of Steel, definitely a trade. Wait, I would say for Dark. Like, it's all over now, but like that joint took forever to come out. So go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like
it took forever.
So, how many issues was it? 12? 10 issues?
It was 12.
Oh, 12. Okay.
It took a while. Yeah. How about you, E? Did you read either one of these?
No, to be honest, I skipped out on these, and I'm really kicking myself for World's Finest. I convinced myself, it feels like out of continuity. It's probably not going to have any bearings on anything. And then, oh, what's that? They're tying in Kingdom Come? Crap.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assumption to make. And like, yeah, I definitely wouldn't expect it either. But like, for that reason, if you're a Kingdom Come fan, I definitely recommend you guys. I forget when it starts though. I don't know if it's the first start or when, but maybe checking it out down the line. Detective Comics, of course. Ron V been killing it. This operatic universe he's built. Evan Cagle covers have been ridiculous. The things they've done recently on this run with the Dan Waters backups, the Jason Sean Alexander artwork. This has been one of the coolest, most intriguing books that DC has out. This is a book that like I was not initially a fan of when Ron B was on, like initially at first. Of course, Nick shamed me into that when he dropped me off of the monthly look ahead when I said I wasn't reading. But yeah, like Ron B is a writer. I have no problem trusting or giving the benefit of the doubt. So I'm glad I did this one. E, I'll let you take it away. I know you're the resident detective hardcore fan. I don't know. We got the Oregon family here. We got the structure of Gotham at play. We got the old families of Gotham at play. This has been great.
Yeah, Ram V is taking you on a journey with this, right? And from the get-go, each arc has kind of spelled out a different facet. And it's kind of funny that people are kind of just, I shouldn't say just now jumping on, but like, I feel like people are really, really taking notice now. And there was like, guys, detective might be where it's at. But I think it's kind of weird because like it started off as this existential crisis kind of story for Bruce, where he was just like, what does it mean to be Batman? What does it mean to hang up, the cowl when my days are done? My body's giving out. I'm not going to be here forever. And what does that look like? To then just being torn down by the Orgums and kind of seeing that Gotham isn't what he thought it was, and Gotham wasn't what he tried to build it up to be. And then it kind of evolves into this like really awesome crime heist story. Like, I don't know in the latest arc if you guys feel the same way, but when Catwoman came in and she kind of became the main player as Bruce has been drugged and kind of like under the control of the what is it called, the Arzum, I believe is what they refer to as, right? dude, did you guys get like Ocean's 11 vibes from that? Like, of course you're gonna get like the heisty kind of like I'm putting my crew together feel, but like it straight up felt like I'm watching Ocean's 11 with Catwoman as Danny Ocean putting her team together, and it was, I don't know, I loved every bit of it. It was just like,
it was like, are you talking about when like they, not to spoil too much, but they had Batman set to be executed or hanged or whatever, and she was like, I'm not going to let that happen type deal, and she was like, I'm going to go ferret out these different people. But yeah, that, and it's like, I just love how it like people say it's got these it's too heavy Court of Owls, and I see that, but at the same time it's something completely different, and I just love how it's taking it back to this like gothic feel of Gotham, but at the same time it's new. But it's been dope, dude. I feel like you get detective. This is what you're supposed to do with the Detective Comics title. You're really supposed to do like explore some different corner or avenue of Batman, or spotlight some part of his history that's never been told before. Come up with it yourself, and I think that what Rom's doing and running with it. I love like the whole Barbados tie-in, and I love how like some of those illustrations where like it was like Barbados shielding Bruce from the Azure or whatever the fuck it was, like some of those illustrations by Jason Swan Alexander were just ridiculous, man. So I feel like everything's coming together at the right place, right time for that book. A lot of things have been bubbling, and I can't wait to see where it goes in 2024. But yeah, man, a great ongoing from DC. Green Lantern, Flash, Jeremy Adams really made a fan on me this year. Both of these runs have been stellar. Flash is now over and Cy Spurrier's got it, but I loved Adams' run brought me back to the character in a way that I really hadn't been invested in quite a while. So I got to recommend it. Those trades are out there. His Green Lantern, I think, is on 5 or 6. It's not my favorite Green Lantern. That goes to Philip Kennedy Johnson's War Journal, his John Stewart book, but this one is still excellent. I highly recommend it. This one has been my favorite. I think this has been his best book of 2023. I think Incredible Hulk is good, and Actions has been good, but I think the story he's telling, Philip Kennedy Johnson's telling here, has been really great. I think both with John trying to acclimate to life back home, with the PTSD references and all that stuff, being an ex-military man, the Revenant Queen, the artwork. I don't know. I've been loving this one. Y'all, either one of y'all reading this one or enjoying it? Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Stewart, yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah. How about you, E?
Nah, 2024 is all going to be about making a concerted effort to get back into more DC, because especially with War Journal too, like I don't know what issue it was in, but I remember a ton of people just talking about and shouting out the scene where he goes to his mother, who, correct me if I'm wrong, has dementia or some kind of, something going on where she just can't, understand reality necessarily. She's losing memories and things like that.
Yeah, she's slowly using it. Yeah.
Yeah, and he manifests his younger sister, her daughter, just to kind of, give something back. I don't know. That's touching stuff, and that's, that's surprising in superhero comics. Pull that kind of heartstring and deliver in a meaningful way.
Oh yeah, that was dope. That was especially touching scene. I think that was like issue 2 or something like that. But yeah, like he's been struggling with his mom's dementia, and really Philip Kennedy Johnson brought his mother into the foray in a way that really hasn't been done with John before. So hell yeah. A couple Superman books I wanted to shout out. Superman Space Age by Mark Russell, who might be my writer of the year when I sit back and look at all the great books that dude has put out this year. And then Superman Lost, dude, especially these gangster ass Lee Weeks. I love these sad like Superman Lee Weeks variant covers that we've done. That's I think that's Jay Lee on the left, which is fire. But I love this one in the closet, like these sad Superman Lee Weeks variants that he's done for Superman Lost. But shout out to Nick. This is one that I probably wouldn't have stuck with if it wasn't for Nick kind of championing it week after week. Christopher Priest is a favorite writer of mine. I have his entire Deathstroke run. I love his Black Panther. I think he's a guy better collected in trades than necessarily single issues. But man, I think we're we're at like seven or eight of this out of 10. And this has been really great, man. This has been uh, an interesting look into the character, a new one, and novel one. So I've really enjoyed this one. Have y'all been keeping up with this one, Christopher Priest and Superman Lost? Link? Sorry, bro. I know. There's so many books. I apologize.
Next slide, quick, before we get death threats from Nick here. Come on.
Heard. All right, Unstoppable Doom Patrol, of course, by Dennis Culver was great. 7-issue run. Highly recommend that one. Great art throughout by Chris Burnham. Fucking great. Just a great, another great Doom Patrol series. Peacemaker tries hard. Kyle Starks was one of my favorite writers of this year. Where Monsters Lie might be the most fun I had reading the comic book this year. Superman. I'm really only recommending the first arc because that's what I've read, and I know Jamal Campbell fell off hard after 4 or 5. But dude, Jamal Campbell doing those first few interiors of Superman, it's worth picking up, dude. Those first 3, 4, 5 issues that he did on interior art. That dude is one of the best artists in the game, and I know we only see limited amounts of him, and it's here and there. But dude, anytime you get a chance to pick that guy up and you know where he's done a whole issue, I highly recommend it. So you guys check that out. Josh Williamson and Jamal Campbell on that first arc of Superman. Action Comics has been one of the best titles for DC for quite a while now. The Riddler, this was the one by Paul Dano. I enjoyed a few issues of this one. It kind of lost me the last 2, but yeah, that one was pretty good. A Black Label book that you might think about checking out. The art in that by Stevan Subic was crazy. But yeah, there's the great Mignola variant right there. And then, of course, The Penguin, one of the breakout books late in the year. Tom King, issue 2, where he gets the help back, was one of my favorite issues of the year. I think we covered that on Supreme Clientele or one of them. Link, do you remember that one? Where he takes out basically the helps living fat, and he takes out his whole household of servants and gets him back to service.
Get him to work for him.
Yeah, that joint was crazy. Of course, Birds of Prey has been great. Leonardo Romero has been killing it. Look at the cover. Bardo, this Wonder Woman's been awesome. Raphael Grandpa, Gargoyle of Gotham, 2 issues in. And Wonder Woman. I've been enjoying Wonder Woman so far. Had its ups and downs. Hasn't been like as strong as I thought it would be, but enjoyable nonetheless. But real quick, let's get into this is the bulk of the books, but we'll try to get through it as quick as we can. Kaya, I owe this one to Manny. I know I'm a Wes Craig fan. Obviously, Deadly Class and all that. I was behind the 8 ball on this one though. So shout out to Manny for getting me on the series when he came on the show with, I think, what was it, issue 11 or 12? 12, yeah. So this one I enjoyed so much I had to go do some back issue reading, and shout out to Manny for this one. Spy Superb. E, you want to talk about Spy Superb real quick? I know it's one of your favorite books of the year.
Oh, dude, Spy Superb was so much fun. It was just if you told a person to make a Wes Anderson movie about spies and turn it into a comic book, that's what you're going to get. It was just it was not slapstick, but kind of, right? It was like a bizarre set of circumstances that just kind of play out in the perfect little way, and the main character is so proud and so boastful and so just not present. I don't know how else to put it, but like he was just so he couldn't see reality for what it was, and it plays out in the most humorous ways, and yeah, I loved it. It
really does. Like every time you think the rug's gonna get pulled out from under him, it doubled down in a way. It felt like a Naked Gun movie, or like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like it felt like a Leslie Nielsen type situation in that book. And I love, like, that was the one that had like the paper packaging type covers.
Yeah, it had the
like
Trader
the brown
Joe's
paper bag.
covers.
Yeah, the brown paper bag covers. Like, I love that aesthetic, dude. Super cool artistic approach for that one. So yeah. All right, so this is a book I didn't read, but I know I want to. Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen, Little Monsters, that vampire book. I heard great things about that one. That's one I need to get to. Tenement. Link and I have been loving that one. great dark thriller, dude. Jeff Lemire, Andrea Sorrentino. 10,000 Black Feathers. The end of it came out at the beginning. The tail end of that came out at the beginning of this year. I confess I have not read that one. I did read The Passageway, but Tenement for me has been the best of the Bone Orchard Mythos books, I think. I don't know, Link, you got anything you want to say about Tenement?
It's been good. If you enjoy Lemire Sorrentino, you'll probably enjoy this. I haven't read the other Black Orchard books leading up to this, so I can't really speak on just stacking them next to each other. But I've enjoyed Tenement.
Oh yeah. E, how about you? Either one of these, bro? You want to say a word on?
I mean, yeah, the whole Black Orchard mythos that has come out here, it's been more of what you would expect, like Link said. Like if you read Gideon Falls, you kind of know the deal. If you read Primordial, even, not a horror flavor, but you kind of know the deal. Jeff Lemire is he's one of those rare writers nowadays that will let a page breathe, and he'll let the artist do the heavy lifting to tell the story, because it's a visual medium, and he understands it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think this is like one of the ones where he's best fleshed out that universe. I feel like 10,000 Black Feathers and Passageway were both cool stories, but this one is the one where I feel like we felt most in touch with the characters, and we felt, I guess, most in touch with the universe, and have some sort of idea what's going on, even though we really don't. But at the same time, I can't wait to see where it goes.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys read Gideon Falls either, but Gideon Falls,
I haven't.
Oh, you haven't? It's one of those stories where, like, it feels like you have a good foundation and is laid out right from the beginning, but then the story gets really stretched out, and you're like, that was like 24 issues, and maybe it could have been 18 or something like that. Whereas I feel like he's developing this world and building the atmosphere first, and now he's starting to say, okay, what this world is about. Here's your story.
Fair enough. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Mindset, dude. This one from Vault was like this one. So the end of this came out at the beginning of this year, but I thought this one was super slept on. John Pearson's art was crazy throughout. It's basically about these guys who find this algorithm that can basically, they can transfer it to a phone, and it can basically make anybody kind of do their suggestive will. So it could basically, like, hypnotize anybody into doing what they wanted to do. And they turn it into this app that they try to kind of steer towards helping the world for the better, but of course they have to navigate all the pitfalls that come with that. People who want to get their hands on it, and it's originally just this group of friends who are trying to do this graduate project and kind of stumble onto this thing, and kind of had to deal with like the blow up after that. It's fantastic though. I really enjoyed it. The story could have been a little bit better towards the end, but I thought for the most part it was great. The covers were great, and Pearson's art was fantastic throughout. And it's one of those series that I feel like nobody talked about that much last year. And again, like, because it ended at the early part of this year, it's gonna kind of fall under the radar. But I wanted to show it some love. I think it's fantastic. Y'all check it out. Mindset by Zach Kaplan and John Pearson. Yeah.
It must have been well enough, because he's got another series coming out with Vault 2 that seems very much in the vein of that too.
Word? Okay. Ooh, Kaplan or Pearson?
I think it's the same team.
Oh, same creative team? Okay, cool. Hell yeah.
I think so.
Love to see more from them. So good news. Billionaire Island, of course. Mark Russell, Call the Dogs was hilarious. Just that good old Mark Russell satire that you want, billionaire satire that you want, where a dog, they're the biggest financial decisions and directions of this world are literally getting chosen off which bowl a dog eats out of. It's business dog, and the bowl, the decision that he makes with which bowl he eats out of, it determines where the market swings. So I just love that general concept. It kind of all falls around that, falls apart around that. But this was just like I think Ahoy Comics. Just a fun book. All Against All, I know, was on a lot of people's year-ends lists. Who do we have on that? Wingard and Packnadell. Incredible creative team. Super dope story about kind of genetic repurposing. Using other animals' bodies as avatars type deal. It was some wild sci-fi concepts introduced, but the story and the art were exceptional throughout. Lettering on that was also super dope by Hassan Otsmain Iluweu, or however you pronounce his last name. So shout out to everybody on that book. Art Brute. Everybody talks about W. Maxwell Prince, Ice Cream Man, and Swan Songs. This was one of those reissues by him and Marazzo that came out at the early part of this year that kind of got, fell through the cracks. This one was super dope about basically this wild world within worlds and the paintings and Arthur Brute and his sidekick Manny the Mannequin and them trying to catch this serial killer who's been running through all these different classic paintings and committing heinous acts and murder by art type deal. It's way headier than I could ever describe, but it was super fun, a super trippy experience to read. A lot of cool takes on classic modern art, like the Scream. I remember there's a very cool segment with the Scream painting in one of these issues. But Art Brute, y'all definitely check that out. Either one of y'all read this one, this W. Maxwell Prince Marazzo one? Link? No. How about you, E?
Yo, are you gonna seriously give me a break here? My wallet cannot take it. I already got where it's right here. Ice Cream Man Volume 1, Ice Cream Man Volume 2 because of you.
I know, man. It's yeah, I'm sorry. It's less than a week before Christmas too. I apologize. Yeah, but Art Brute, definitely check it out, man. I think it was called The Electric Sublime when it was originally published, but Image re-released it at the early part of this year, and it was super dope. Bunch of dope variant covers. Definitely, y'all check that one out. Junkyard Joe, dude. Jeff Johns really comeback story for me. I mean, Geiger was great, but this one was amazing. What a meditation on PTSD. Gary Frank was really at the top of his game, I thought, through every single issue of this. But yeah, Junkyard Joe. Link, did you read / enjoy that one, bro? I forget if we did that one. No. Yeah. How about you, E?
Nah, man. I to be honest,
Yeah,
with you, I hold grudges against Jeff Johns.
Okay, fair enough. Hairball was great. I love this one by Matt Kent. This was a weird ass little book. Great artwork. It kind of got weird issue 3 or 4 in, but I still think it was a riot and fun to read. I thought the way they brought it all together. Dude, 2 of my favorite books of the year right here. Where Monsters Lie. Kyle Starks. A breakout writer of the year for sure for me. This one, Peacemaker Tries Hard. What was the other one he had? I'm missing the title. But yeah, this book, dude, nothing. I don't think a book this year made me laugh as hard as issue 1 of this. It was just so damn funny, man. And the whole concept about a neighborhood of serial killers kind of creating their own community and trying to wall it off from society and the police, and that all getting interrupted was just fantastic, dude. And it was just a hilarious romp. Introduced me to Kowalski, who I also got to know later on this year with All 8 Eyes and something else, but just a talented group of folks, dude. But Kyle Starks, yeah, this was my introduction to him. I love this one. Just one of my favorite books of the year, for sure. One, you talk about my top 5, this is definitely in there. Did either of y'all read this? I hope so.
Not this one.
Yeah, this one.
I had the pleasure of meeting Kyle Starks though earlier this year.
Oh hell yeah, hell yeah!
Really good dude. I picked up the 6 sidekicks of Trigger Keaton, so he seems to be the next hot name. So even though it's not this one on my list here, I'm sure we're gonna be reading a lot more from him later on down the line.
Yeah, dude. Check this. If you want a lighthearted, fun book to read, I definitely recommend Where Monsters Lie. Sins of Salton Sea. We were just talking shit on Ed Brisson. I think this is the one book, Link, that I do like from him. But I completely agree with what you're saying. The Ghost Rider, his Ghost Rider run did that to me, where I thought it was okay at first, and then just the Predator run was the same deal. I thought it started strong, but then it just kind of he took his foot off the gas, and I feel like he has these strong starts to stories, but he didn't necessarily finish where I want him to. This one, it was a great ending. I thought this was a great complete story. I felt like this could have gone a lot of different ways, but I like the way we ended this one with the Sopranos style sort of ending. Link, I know we read this one a lot on Supreme Clientele. How did you feel about this one, brother?
Forgot this was by Ed Brisson. Actually, I forgot about this book, but I did like this one. A lot of AWA, but not that it's a bad thing, but a lot of AWA books read like Mark Miller books to me in a way, where they seem like they're pitches for a movie or a show. They say this as a compliment because it's like, you know, it's a pitch, so you don't get much there, but this story had me wanting to know more about the world, like our main character. Like we saw why he was the way he was, but I wanted more of that world, you know, maybe more jobs he's been on and, you know, stuff like that. So I think that's a good sign when a book kind of leaves me wanting to explore that world more. So yeah, I enjoyed this book quite a bit. Ed, damn it, forgot about this one, Ed Brisson. You did well.
It's all good.
Yeah,
it's all
I
good,
think this would
dude.
make a dope ass.
Yeah, I forgot about him too. Like, I don't know, but yeah, when you said his name earlier, I immediately thought of that Predator run and how I had such high hopes for that, and it just all kind of fell apart. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I can't believe you guys forgot about this one. Like, this legitimately made, like, I was putting together a list of the top comics of the year, and this, at the very least, made a top 20. Like, I mean, this one was really high up there. But I got to say one thing. Stu, me and you watched a very different last episode of The Sopranos because I don't remember Cthulhu coming out of the sea in Sopranos to take out Tony.
well, just you know how like there's still that you don't know how what everybody's fate is. You know, at the end of the day, like
Okay, all right.
There's still that like there's still that blind moment. Like I think with Sins of the Salton Sea, you have more of an idea where it's going than Sopranos, but you know what I mean. Like you don't know where everybody's fate ultimately ends up.
This definitely gave me Soprano vibes as well, but I got the ending. I got vibes from Cabin in the Woods, the Drew Goddard, Joss Whedon movie from over 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's too as well. Oh yeah, I can see that for sure.
Yeah, the book kept you on the seat, you know, on the edge of your seat though the entire time because like it starts off as one story, evolves into a completely different story, and then takes a right turn and turns into a whole different story that you absolutely had no inkling of, you know, that this was going to happen. So
yeah, and I love the dichotomy of like, is this cult really real? Is there this like thing that comes up? Like, is there really this world-ending like monster or whatever? But then there's like this very human story of like this guy and all the trauma he's been through and put people through and like wanting to do like one last right thing and protect this kid. And like, I don't know. It was like such a great balance, I feel like, of those two elements.
Who I think had one of the more interesting characters for me was the dad, the leader of the cult.
Yeah.
Because they like explained, it showed that he wasn't a mustache twirling villain. Like it was like he almost didn't want this to happen. Like he was like pissed when he found out they found his son and shit like that. Like he was hoping his son stayed away so he never have to. Like he didn't want to do this. He knew it was fucked up. Lesser of two evils, I guess. But yeah, that was an interesting insight to me. You know, you don't really see that dynamic too much when it comes to like cult villain. You know, he's the leader of a cult. You know, usually people are out there, but he was actually, I mean, still an ass, but he was trying to save the world essentially.
Yeah, a practical one. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It didn't feel like he wasn't like some puffed up like operating on like nonsense beliefs. Like there was some real world shit to like what was going on.
Practical ass. I'm gonna put that on my next job resume.
There you go. There you go. Hell yeah. But yeah, one we all enjoyed for sure. Sins of Salton Sea. Y'all check that one out. I think just 5 issues, the AWA. You've Been Canceled, dude. One of my favorites, definitely. Both of these books, you know, I love what You've Been Canceled said about the cancel culture and just the whole nature of, you know, the pitchfork mentality. And then, of course, Something Epic was, you know, I think you talk about another breakout creator. You know, few people had as big a year as I think Kudransky did. It was crazy, dude. I was just in my LCS, and I forget what book it was, but I saw some Marvel book that had like that was illustrated by him, and I couldn't believe it because it looked completely different to what you see in something epic. So shout out to him for really, I think, bringing his style along. The amount of you could just tell this was a labor of love for him, from the variant covers to like the amount of dialogue that was in some of the earlier issues, even some of the later issues. Just like dude wanted to get his point across with this one, and love it or hate it, I think you got to respect the artistic effort that went into crafting this, and I think really made him a name to look out for with Blood Commandment and whatever else he's going to have going on in 2024. But yeah, dude, I think I can understand it being long-winded and a lot to read for some people. It definitely was a lot for me to get through sometimes, but I think this is one of those comics where if you give it the time and the investment, if you put that work in, it'll pay dividends on the end around, I think. But You've Been Canceled is completely straightforward. A fun romp. Yeah, I don't think you need to give too much. The effort you have to give to Kudranski and something epic is a mountain compared to a molehill. But at the same time, dude, Kudranski really came out of the box swinging, I think, on this one. Did you guys enjoy / not enjoy this one?
Something epic. It was an interesting one for me. He's, I give him credit because I feel like it's his first time doing writing and art. But he's not a bad writer, but it's overly verbose sometimes. But he's working on that. That's something he can improve on. But he's not a bad writer. He's had an interesting world he created. Kudranski's art is something that kind of I took notice of with this book. Like, I've known of his art, but it was always like, and I have older books of him, and it's always kind of like dark and shadowy. And so in this book, when I saw him like mimicking like anime style and like bright golden age superhero and just different styles, and he was doing well, I was really impressed. I can always respect that when I can't pigeonhole people. I thought he could only draw one way, but man showed that if this book's for anything, it's for the the creative way he leveled up in terms of his art. So I appreciated that.
Yeah.
You've Been Canceled. Great art. It's fun, and I always appreciate a book it's getting its point across, but it's not shoving its message down your throat. It's not forcing it in your face, and they did it in a fun way. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good books. I love You've Been Canceled.
Hell yeah.
I feel like 2023 was the year of like writers / artists really coming into prominence. You know what I mean? Or like really like maybe artists taking their shot, right? We've seen Scotty Young really, really hit hard. Where I mean, guys like us of our age group, we probably remember him as, even before his little Baby Marvel cover days, doing like the Human Torch mini back in the day, right? And the Venom story and stuff like that. Dude, they're taking control of their careers because I hate to say it, but it's a writer driven medium, which is unfortunate. Like, people put the respect on that writer's name, and dude, and good on them for saying, hey, like, if that's the way it's going to be, guess what? You're getting my book now, the way that I want it, and I'm going to get the accolades.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I don't know, I think that's necessary at some point. I think, at some point you got to tell the stories that you want to tell, and you got to draw the stories that you want to draw. And, nobody else going to look out for number one besides yourself, especially in this industry. So I'm glad to see a lot of these guys be able to navigate that contract field where they can, like guys like Romby can still work at the big two and still do their own thing on the creator own. And I feel like that's going to be the name of the game moving forward. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how the big two responds as far as like getting and keeping good talent long term. I don't know. I'm curious to see how that all unfolds moving forward.
Town Called Terror, I'll have to check that out. Was he doing different styles in it, Fable? Because that's the specific reason why I enjoyed Something Epic, was him aping. It was kind of, there's a series J.H. Williams did with Grant Morrison back in 2005 called Seven Soldiers, where there is like 7 miniseries, each all written by Grant Morrison, but they all had a different artist. And at the
Oh
very end cap of
yeah.
the issue, J.H. Williams like mimics every other artist's style. Like you can tell it's him doing it, but he was doing such a good job of emulating their style. And that's what the vibes I was getting, like something epic. I've never read Town Called Terror, but everything else I've seen from Krasinski is usually like very dark. It's good, but it's very dark. I was shocked to see that he could do like bright anime flavored and manga style characters and something epic. But I'll check out Town Called Terror.
Oh yeah. Let me shout out the chat real quick. A couple people came through. I got Stonk Station. Thank you for always coming through and showing support. We appreciate you. Shantae Station. Thank you for coming through and showing support tonight. We appreciate you. What else we got? Taki, Chill, Bobby, what up? If I didn't say what up already, bro. Station, bro. Who else we got? Bro Joe, I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about tonight because I've been drinking, but good work and Merry Christmas to everybody here in the chat. Bro Joe, we don't know what the hell we're talking about either, but we're trying, bro. We're just talking comics. Station, brother. Hope you're well. Yeah, man. I don't know. I think that's it. I don't think it was. Yeah. All right. So moving on, fellas. Animal Castle. I don't know if anybody like this Animal Pound book coming out by Tom King seems like an inferior version of this book. I've been loving this book. I know it was on volume 2 this year. But yeah, I love that book. I know I recommended it to E. I don't know if you got to it yet.
Yeah, no, I didn't even know there was a volume 2, to be honest with you. Like, I mean, I'm up on volume 1, but I had no idea. So now I know.
Yeah, I know there's at least like 3 issues, but yeah, I don't know if they've completed it yet, but it's been good stuff so far. But love the story here. Animal Castle is basically, I know Animal Pound is doing the same deal, but it really is like Animal Farm on this miniature like little castle deal. Like these animals all have their own collective, their own hierarchy, their own class/case system. They do have relations with the human beings, which is interesting. They kind of have this trade barter system. A lot of things to be said about, class warfare. The differences between us all. Violence versus nonviolence. There's a very heavy themes of violence versus nonviolence. How to protest, how to resist. I don't know, just one of those books that really makes you think, and has great art, great storytelling. I think is really going to go places and be one of those great books by the time it's all said and done. This was a book my homie Chaos and Comics recommended to me, and I just haven't seen people talking about it that much, so I wanted to give it a spotlight. All Eight Eyes was great. Kurt Pires or Pires? How do you pronounce it? Or no, I'm not. It's not Kurt Pires. It's Steve Fox. That's actually a James Stokoe cover, I believe. I think that's a Stokoe variant. But yeah, another Kowalski book on art. This one was fun. Basically about a spider takeover. World Tree, of course. Look at that Jenny Frison beauty. Doesn't get any better than that. I didn't really like Vanish as a series. I just thought this Daniel Warren Johnson cover was super fucking dope. I thought Vanish started really well with a lot of promise. Like, Harry Potter meets I don't know what, but it just kind of, I don't know, went off the rails like a lot of Donny Cates books recently. I thought it started so well, but it just kind of fell apart about 4 or 5 issues in. Did you guys read World Tree? Okay. I read World Tree, but it didn't really stick with me. Did y'all enjoy World Tree?
Yeah, I read like the first 2 issues, and I remember everyone was like hyping it up, and I thought it was very
it just didn't do it for me.
So man. I didn't continue.
I gotta say the same thing. Yeah. How about you, Heath?
Thank God you guys said that, because I thought I was the lone person. Like, I'll be very honest with you, Tynan hasn't done it for me recently. Like, I feel like he became the household name and then hasn't been able to deliver, at least for, I guess, my tastes in comics.
No, it feels like he's mailing it in, and he's parsing out storylines, and I don't feel like we're getting any of that, like, I don't know, man. I feel like it's always kind of drawn out a little bit too much with him. You know what I mean? Like there's a little too much. Like I felt like Nice House on the Lake. Like that book would have been so perfect if it was like 8 issues instead of 12. I feel like.
Oh yes.
Like,
which is wild though, because the dude's a protege of Scott Snyder, and if you talk about a writer nowadays that's concise, like he hits his beats, and like you could say he's formulaic, and I'm not going to argue that fact, but he tells a good single story. He leaves you on a cliffhanger. He answers the questions that you need while like giving you new questions. Like he gets the flow of a story, and I feel like Tynan doesn't get that. He might have parts, but filling in the blanks is really difficult.
It's weird because before I became a name, I really enjoyed his Detectives Comics run with it, where it was like of the Bat Squad. And that was he went
dude,
did
I
a
love that. I
couple
love that
years on
run.
that.
Yeah, dude. That
So
was
it's
great.
like I know the man can do it to an extent, but it's like you said, he became a household name and kind of let us put off the gas, and it just is. I don't know. Something's changed. I can't narrow it
Yeah,
down.
no, like
but-
Department of Truth started fire. Like Something That's Killing the Children started fire. Nice House on the Lake started fire, but then it was like after 5 issues, Taki said, I think he uses AI to write Something That's Killing the Children. That is funny because it feels very true, Tom. Very, very astute comment, bro. Sal, what up, bro? Sal, thank you for all your support since day one. You've been one of our day one, Sal. So we love you. I hope you're doing well, bro. Thank you for always coming through for us, though. Since Instagram days, you've always showed up. So shout out to you. If you read J224's Detective, you would wonder what happened. Like it was great, man.
Yeah.
The rise of the Batman, Clayface as like I love the Clayface's character turn in that, and then back. But yeah, man, I don't know. I think the strongest this year has been Dracula, and I'm glad that's kind of in a short term type of frame. Like I'm glad there's no expectations for that to go any longer than it has. But yeah, I feel like after he jumped off Detective, it's been hit and miss, man. Like Batman, it felt like every different issue he was trying to introduce a new character. It just felt OD. Like
oh yeah.
Miracle Molly and Clown Hunter, then
away.
Ghostmaker, then fucking like it's like, bro, you know, I don't know.
Not to take away from his Batman run, but I just, you know, I mean, I think it was just because people were they wanted something different than Tom King at the time. So they're like, oh yeah, Tynan, he's been killing it on Detective Comics, it sounds like it should work. But his run is very forgettable. I don't think, you know, and the ideas like the Clown Killer, Ghostmaker, Miracle Molly, cool ideas, but I don't think
it's not gonna
many, if any, will stand the test of time. You know, like 10 years from now, I'd be very surprised to see any of Tynan's.
No, I don't think he got lucky that that Zdarsky used Ghostmaker so quickly in the Night series or whatever, and kind of like incorporated him more into like Bruce's backstory or origin story or whatever. But like, I feel like that's a blessing because I feel like besides, and now you see Ghostmaker being used in Batman incorporated into more stuff. But like, I think Miracle Molly and Clown Hunter are kind of they're gonna struggle to get to see a lot of face time. So we'll see. But
I like Clown Hunter too.
Clown Hunter's a solid idea. Like a kid who's had his life ruined by Joker, like, and wants to. Yep. That makes complete and total sense. But at the same time, I don't know. We'll see where it goes. But yeah, moving on. Blue Book. Speaking of Tinian, Blue Book.
Another time.
A book that was okay. But yeah, I think what Rogue said here is so true for Blue Book. Like, I think a big part of the success has been all the incredible artists he's been able to work with. Absolutely facts, and I think he gets away with a lot of holes in his storytelling that way. But Local Man, I think by Tinian, or not by Tinian, by Seeley has been Seeley and Tony Fleeks has been one of the best books of the year. This kind of throwback vibe to this '90s type of Image team that kind of fell it's got old school Image vibes, and it's got Watchmen vibes where this like team is trying to, and like members of this team are getting murdered, and this guy's trying to figure out why, and you know, the team's got these like old Image, like a lot of these old Image archetypes. It's been cool, man. That's been a really fun run for me, and like a really
is that a
go ahead.
cover it. Is that is that a variant or is that like the D, A cover for
That's probably a variant, bro. I just like picked random covers I like from a lot of these, so
that's a great
cover. Or actually, that might be a cover A. Actually, I think that is a cover A. But yeah, there's this character who has this like creature that kind of lives under its skin, and she tries to keep it at bay, but like that's the other half is like that creature. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like this alien, like it's like kind of like a symbiote, like an alien life form type deal. But yeah, pretty cool stuff.
I like how it's it's like, I mean, obviously, but it's the lettering at the bottom is what gets me. It's like someone tore the page in half, and you're looking at the first page.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Sal says it has front and back covers for each issue. Flipbook stories. Okay, hell yeah. But
Youngblood from back in the day.
Yeah, dude. Y'all should check that one out, man. Local Man's it's a fun. If you're a '90s baby like me, always picks for retail exclusive. My bad. I mean, I'm trying to get something to grab y'all's eye. Like, is that a cover A? No. My bad, talk.
Oh yeah, they're behind the counter.
Yeah, we'll have that shit in like 3 weeks, bro.
Yeah, just hit up Stu's Whatnot. He'll have all these on auction. Don't worry.
Yeah. Send me your money now. I promise you'll get it. Indigo Children has been a sleeper. Just another great story. I think this has been a Kurt Byers book. Yeah, Kurt Byers book. Yeah, dude, this has been a cool one about like, supernaturally gifted children that was like, kind of the result of this government program and them reuniting and kind of righting the wrongs that were done to them in childhood. But it's been great, man. One of those
Stranger Things and X-Men.
Yeah.
That's kind of a really good comparison.
Yeah, actually, yeah, absolutely. But it's been fun, dude. I love the artwork through this. I can't shout out that artist's name, but this one has been really fun. Either one of y'all reading this one?
This is one I keep hearing about. It's on my list. I've been wanting to check this out. I've seen some panels and the artwork looked cool. So
yeah, this one's dope, dude.
And the title's
Oh yeah.
I loved this book. It was really good. Like, my only complaint is that it felt like, and it's not a true ending. It's the ending of the first arc, but it just didn't feel like it gave me that really satisfying ending that I wanted. But I know they're going to build off of it. So it's really just me being impatient more than a critique of the writing.
Agreed. But I feel like it's a dangerous game to play because like if I get like 2 issues into the next run and it's like they're kind of playing footsie, you know what I mean? Because like I completely agree with you. Everything was leading to them like having this big showdown, them all reconciling and having a big showdown and like righting those wrongs and getting back at the people that like basically made them like this or like held them captive as children or whatever. And it kind of delivered, but it kind of didn't. So we'll see.
Well, I think there's just a lot of questions that need to be answered still, and I'm glad they didn't answer all of them, but I'm ready for them too. So Kurt, come on.
Heard that. Rogue says Indigo Children was a cool read, but didn't feel like it was doing anything new. I still really enjoyed it. Yeah, the art was dope. Hell yeah! All right, let's see what else we got. Christopher Chaos. This is a book that had ideas by Tinian, but Tate Rubble's writing this. I've enjoyed this one so far. Kind of like he's got his own like kind of like Monster Clan type deal going on. Seasons Have Teeth. Dan Waters. We talked about this one briefly earlier. At least he did. This one was super dope. Yeah. Link, you want to talk about this one real quick? Like the seasons as kaijus, basically.
Yeah, I thought this was. I forgot about this one, but this one is one I actually enjoyed quite a bit. I wish it would have been longer, but it's about this who's living with regret, but he's trying to. He wants to do something that means something to make up for all the regrets. So he's trying to take pictures of these. Like Stu said, the seasons have become these kaiju monsters, and it's like a whole system. People have to leave the area when like the season is coming to town. But it was an interesting thing, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, how has someone never thought of this before? But at the same time, it's genius. It's like, of course no one's gonna think, how do you turn a season into a monster? But it was cool. I wish it would have been longer. It was one of those books where I think it would have benefited from being 2 issues longer, because it kind of seems like they wrapped it up very quickly towards the end, when I would have liked to spend more time with I mean, dude, get inside his head as to why he's on this kind of like a suicide mission. That was
Completely
solid,
agree.
another solid book by Dan Waters.
Oh yeah. E, how about you,
This might
brother?
have been Dan Waters for me. Sorry,
No, you're good.
we have a friend who loves Dan Waters, but Dan Waters has been solid, because I enjoyed a picture. Was it a picture of everything? I think was the name of the book.
Picture of
But I
everything
don't think
else.
that ever
Yeah.
finished. Picture of everything
Yeah.
else, yes. But I'm trying to. And what was the shit? I'm blanking on it. That kaiju haunted
Pilots.
houses.
Homesick Pilots.
Homesick Pilots, yes.
Yeah.
That one I thought was fun too. But I took notice of Waters more this year.
Yeah. E, how about you, brother?
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. Like, I think I'm not sure if more issues would have done it any justice, because I get what they're going for. There's 4 seasons, there's 4 issues, but it's the same thing I said before. It's Dan Waters takes a character, he does a character study, and then says, what would be cool with this? Let's explore emotional changes during seasons. What's cool after that? Well, let's make the seasons characters. Let's personify them in these different things, which happen to be kaiju. I think that last issue just needed to take the kaiju part, bring it down to this much, and the character.
And we needed that. Yep.
And it just needed time to breathe and kind of let you deal with the fact that he's come to the end of his life, and the revelations that he's come through this journey of seeking out the seasons.
Man, I think that's a great, a great comment and a great decision from an editorial standpoint. I think it's definitely what that last book could have used. But yeah, like, dude, it was so just the whole fact of like he's racked with this guilt that he basically documented his wife wasting away from cancer, and like he's going all out into these seasons and their hazard zones to get these pictures, because he's got like nothing left to live for, and he's trying to reconcile that guilt with like these photos, and have something, I guess, else to add to his legacy that isn't that horrible thing. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think it was like you said, a brilliant look. It was a brilliant meditation on both, like, the things a man goes through in his life, and how we try to reconcile those things at the end of it, be it out of desperation or our own inherent guilt, or wanting to do right by the people we've wronged, or a lot of those things are the same thing. But I don't know. I just love that I could love and empathize with like his driving factors that never differed like throughout the story. But yeah, I completely agree. Like, it felt like we were getting so close there, and towards the end it felt like it didn't get that like last little bit with him that we wanted. It felt like it just was a little bit cut short. But yeah, I think Rogue said it. Yeah, seasons 2 solid, and it was definitely a bro. Completely agree, bro. But regardless, one of the better books, Dan Waters, this and Loki, two of my favorite books of the year for sure. So shout out to him. Dude, here we go. I got all the Jim Rugg variants here for the most cringeworthy book of 2023. Red Room Crypto Killers, bro. I don't even want to talk about the heinousness that goes on inside these pages. I can't. I'll get banned from YouTube forever, but Lord knows the poor man is banned in 13 countries as it is already. But or is it comic shops? But y'all go support Ed Pitscore, Red Room, Cartoonist Kayfabe, Jim Rugg. These guys are like was one of the podcasts that really got me back into comics when I was coming out when COVID happened and I was kind of on the fence. Brought me back to a lot of the things I love about comics, like comics of the 90s, Wizard Magazine, and they just make cool shit at the end of the day. Red Room might not be your taste. You'll know immediately whether it is or it isn't in the first couple pages. But regardless, I highly recommend Yeah, hell yeah. I highly recommend Cartoonist Kayfabe on YouTube. the guys go. It started just basically as Ed and Jim going through old Wizard magazines back in the day. It's kind of evolved into this whole other thing where they just highlight dope comics, dope artists, dope writers. But those guys have put me onto so much goodness. I got to shout them out. Got to shout their work out. I love Jim's homages here. He's got the Liefeld homage. He's got the Charles Burns homage right there on the right. He's got of course, the Magnolia homage, and he did his own Ed Piscor Hip Hop Family Tree homage. So I got to shout those guys out. But yeah, Piscor and Jim Rugg, man. What else needs to be said? All right, try to get through the end of this because we're running super late. Thank you guys for hanging in there with me. Void Rivals, I love this book, man. I thought it was one of the better books of the year, building that Energon universe out. I love the level of suspense that Kirkman was able to maintain through it. I thought Di Felici's artwork was incredible throughout. How'd y'all feel about Void Rivals? Link, I know you like this one.
Yeah, it was good. For as I get older, it's hard for me to take chances on newer things, and this is a newer thing for me. This is my entry point into the Star Wars, but Transformers mythos. Our brother Fable loves Transformers, and I've asked him questions over the years to try to get more acclimated with the series, but it's random questions. I want to understand everything like he does. So I figured this comic series, perfect time. But with that being said, for me to understand two new characters' names, I actually remember them, Darak and Solila. That means something to me, that sticks with me. So I think Robert Kirkman's been doing a fantastic job with I don't want to say he's reinvigorated the IP, but Transformers, the comics were not that cool in the past. I mean, I know they've been buying them, but I really think he made put a lot of attention on Transformers as a whole, and even the Transformers comic. I'm curious to see where this world building is going. This has no character. I think it has one character from Transformers in it, or maybe a couple characters, but it's not anything that directly. You don't really know how this is going to connect or tie into Transformers, so it's all brand new. So for me to stick with a book that's brand new and I don't know where it's going, that says a lot. So I think it's been fun, and I look forward to it.
Oh yeah, dude. How about you? You read Void Rivals?
Oh yeah, and this isn't necessarily about Void Rivals or specific to Void Rivals, but Kirkman loves the medium. Right, he clearly has a love for periodicals, comic books, floppies that are sitting on the stands, right? But more importantly than that, I think you actually said it as well as you could. He reinvigorated this, I didn't care necessarily about Transformers. This made me want to care about it. It really, really did. I think this is a book that, once the secret was revealed, I think it put people into local comic book stores, and we hear the rumblings, and we hear the the people, the doomsayers, right, that are out there with their signs saying the end is near. Dude, this is the kind of stuff that's going to make a difference when it comes to keeping the direct market, thriving. People like Robert Kirkman putting out books like this and caring about it.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Well said. Absolutely. And I think I love the patience that he's given us. Hey, we just had our first 6-issue run. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. I think they're coming back in February or March or whatever. But building the anticipation, man. And it feels like these properties are in the right hands with these guys, and that's a good feeling to have, especially, I think with the turmoil that the ups and downs that some of these properties have seen across publication and television. I think it's and movies, obviously, with Transformers. I think it's good that it's getting grounded back. I think it's back to a place of groundedness and great storytelling, and I think that'll only bode well for maybe future adaptations, or if we see it on the screen again. Because it seemed like that they wanted to kind of tie it in the movies there at the end of that last Transformers. So I would like to see them kind of follow a more grounded late 80s, early 90s based vision for it, like as they're doing now. So Oh yeah. Saga, of course, continued. Nothing really notable there. It still retains its quality, but not as good as it once was. But I think the final act or two is going to be incredible. Always a book I'll give my money to. One of the best books out there. Once Upon a Time at the End of the World. Jason Aaron has been killing it with this one. Just love, like, again, how he's using different artists just as a storytelling device throughout different sections of the story, different facets of this relationship or time spans of this relationship. It's been beautiful, dude. It's been a great book. Really enjoyed that. Jeff Lemire's Fish Flies is sad as shit, much in the vein of Essex County. It's got that sad homegrown vibe to it, but at the same time, you're finding more about these characters with each issue, their backstory, who they are, where they, what type of situation they're coming from, and you get more invested, dude. I think he's so good at that. So that's definitely been one of my favorites. Swan Songs, quite possibly the series of the year. W. Maxwell Prince has been killing it. I don't really know what to say about this, dude. It's been just so good. Each issue is the end of something. I think the first issue was the end of the world.
Stu?
Clearly, W. Maxwell Prince is writing the stream. He wrote the end of Stu.
Well, damn it, Stu's not here, but I was gonna say, have you read it, Swan Songs, at all yet?
I have not finished it, which is unfortunate because I feel like the last issue is the one that everyone's talking, or I believe it's the last issue. The end of I don't even know what the word is. The man can't grasp happiness, right? He can't feel that, and he has to kind of reach back into his childhood to find out what it is. Yeah, rediscover it. There we go. Yeah.
That was a good issue. I think it was like issue 3, where it was like an Adam and Eve story, but post-apocalyptic Adam and Eve story. I think Felipe Andre, am I pronouncing it? Layla Starr.
Andrade, the Layla Starr guy, yeah.
Andrade. Yeah. I think he was the artist for that issue, but it almost kind of looked like it was like he was using crayons in a beautiful way, at a certain point. That was a cool little issue. That was probably one of my favorite issues of the year. Hey.
My bad.
He said that Maxwell Prince wrote the end of You.
Yeah, or this trash internet. But yeah, facts. So yeah, deep cuts by Kyle Higgins. I love these little jazz stories. The Cull. Me and Link have we've enjoyed The Cull, yeah?
Yeah, I've been digging it. Beautiful artwork. Kelly Thompson, she's writing writes great characters. It's interesting. I've been enjoying it.
Oh yeah. How about you? You read The Cull? I
have, yeah. And for her first foray, or at least from what I understand, her first foray into creator-owned comics, she came out of out swinging. Like, I really enjoyed this. I thought the art was cinematic. The only downside is when you get such photorealistic stuff, it kind of can feel stagnant. But the way the world interacts without giving too much away for the characters, I thought really brought like another level and didn't make it look so stiff.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. The artwork has been like Drop Dead gorgeous. I love the way it's developed. The world it kind of like entered into, and like simultaneously, like as they're exploring the world, you find out more about these characters. I need to get to the end of it. I think I'm still stuck on 3.
Same.
Or maybe 4, but I need to. Mattia de Eloui, I think, is one of the dude. That guy's artwork is drop dead gorgeous. I've been digging him ever since I read that random Captain America one-off issue he did. I think the Sentinel Liberty #0 or whatever. I think it was like the #0 to that whole run. But guy's incredibly talented. I know it takes a long time.
Yeah.
Like this, I know following her on Substack, this one has been a long time coming. I think just trying to get the artwork ready, but the payoff's been worth it in my eyes. I think it's good, been solid so far.
You know, I would tell you guys, like, I have a thing where it's like, I feel like I've seen it. I would just see an artist and then I'll think I've seen him for the first time, but then discover like, no, I've seen their artwork before and didn't even pay attention. I thought it was like a weird just thing that goes on with me, but now I'm starting to think that maybe I just smoke a little too much weed and it fucks with my memory, you know? But so, you know, I remember talking about Matea de Luis's artwork with you and like, oh, I've never seen this before the call. And then it's like, reorganizing my comic collection lately, and there's like a cyberpunk comic that came out 2 years ago, and there Matea de Luis did the variants, and I've got all those bitches, and I was like, oh my god, I have this. Like, but yeah, I gotta stop smoking so much.
I can totally see that artist doing a cyberpunk comic though. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's dope, bro. I think we all share that. Where did all my memories go? You know what I mean? Dude, the other day, I was so embarrassed. I can't even remember the word I was trying to search for. But it was a good 10 minutes. And it was just one word I was trying to, that one piece of vocabulary, and I just couldn't, my brain couldn't locate it. And all its deep, dark corners. I felt so smart. But yeah. Anyway, Godzilla War of Humanity, art's been dope. Story's okay. Ice Cream Man. I mean, what more do we need to say? One of the best books out there. If you're not reading Ice Cream Man on a monthly basis, I highly encourage you guys to. From a perspective of a dude who's really just recently discovered it, what do you have to say to the people who aren't reading Ice Cream Man out there?
It's okay. You hear so much about a book after a while, and you just become numb to it, right? Like, I mean, people you trust, people's opinions who matter to you, but you hear the same thing over and over, and you're like, it can't be, because there's no way that it could be as good as people are making it out to be, and it is. It just is. It's poignant. It hits you in the feels every issue.
It makes you feel.
Yeah, in different ways though. Like, I mean, he will manipulate. I mean, you become the puppet, right? And he's just the puppeteer that's just like moving you through the story and making you feel all these different things. And most importantly, if you don't read it, Stu will just harass you until you do.
Yeah,
I think it was in the anthology issue they did right around COVID when they were coming back, or the pandemic. And it was like this guy gets in this cab and he's like, I'm thinking he's a drug addict, but it's like, I'm assuming he's dying because he's like, the cab's flying off into space and through the galaxy, but it just made me feel so uneasy and unsettled. It was like, it wasn't even anything super crazy, but it's just how he wrote this story. And it's just that he said, this will make you feel different kinds of things, because some shit will be very touching and sentimental. Other things will leave you feeling very disturbed and very uneasy. But that's a strength of Maxwell.
That's what you want from a work of art, man. You want it to shake you awake and make you feel something you haven't felt before, or looks at some aspect of humanity, or the human experience that you haven't before. And I feel like that guy delivers. Dude, I'd love to see. I don't know how many interviews he's got out there, but I'd love to see, just to pick that guy's brain and see, like, I don't know, some of the things he's gone through in life. But yeah, two of the best books out: Second Coming, Mark Russell, Second Coming Trinity by Mark Russell, and of course Sacrifices by Remender, Max Fiumara, one of the breakout books of 2023. Great story, even better art by Fiumara. Ribbon Queen, it's been okay, from AWA by Garth Ennis. It's had its moments up and down. I kind of agree with what Robbie says. It has these, you'll fall asleep for an episode or two, but then it'll shock you awake at the end of issue 2 or issue 3, and you'll be back in it. I think it's one of those type of books. Enfield Gang Massacre, I think, has been one of the strongest releases of 2023. It's not what you're used to in terms of that Texas blood from these two, but at the same time, I've been loving this tale. How about you guys? You been loving Enfield Gang, or how you feel about it?
I have. Does it take place within the same universe of that Texas blood?
It does.
Okay, that's cool. I did not realize that, and as I've been reading, I've seen these covers, and I'm just now noticing that Texas blood stamp up there. I'm like, oh shit. But no, yeah, Enfield Gang has been super dope. It reminded, I associate a lot with movies, but it gave me like that Texas blood gave me like No Country for Old Men vibes. and this gave me like through 10 to Yuma vibes. And I mean those as compliments, you know, like when I can associate
love
a
those
book with like a
comparisons.
Yeah.
yeah, thank you. But no, yeah, if you enjoy those movies, you really enjoy these books. You know, and this was a surprise hit. I didn't think I was gonna enjoy this, but Stu kept talking about it to the point where he finally made me read it as part of the weekly books, and I loved it. I was excited to read it ever since.
Yeah, dude. I was late on the Texas Blood, so I didn't want to be late on this one. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. How about you, E?
Oh, dude, I love this book. I'm so happy. I feel like I was the only person out there just like, just begging people like, hey, man, you read that Texas Blood? It's real good. You ever consider it? You should really try it. And now, like, I hear all kinds of people talking about this book, and I'm just like, it warms my heart because I really feel like Chris Condon is, he was probably the breakout name for me last year. But he's getting recognition this year. Like he's a person that people are looking towards. And Jacob Phillips.
Dude.
Can we talk about Jacob Phillips for a second?
Lord, man.
He is, I mean, I don't want to take anything, I don't want to talk about like the nepotism portion of it, right? But like, I mean, he's continuing the lineage that Sean put in place, right? And to kind of be brought up in color for him and now have your own unique art style that, you can tell, it comes from a place where that's,
It's
in
very
a similar vein.
Yeah, but he's got his own flair. So my bad. That's well said.
Yeah, but I feel like it's more painterly, and this on top of the work that he's doing at Newburn, he is definitely one of my artists of the year for sure. He's doing great work, and the paper, newsprint-esque paper on this just makes me feel good.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
I mean,
his coloring is so crazy.
The nepotism bit, just real quick, like I agree. Like it would be a different story if his work wasn't top tier, and you're like, yeah, well, his dad has been in the game for so long, but no, man, he's on that level. He's I want to say rivals his dad. Like I know his dad he's got a while to go, but for him, I don't know. When was his first book that Texas Blood, or had he done something before that?
I'm sure he would probably. I don't know. I'm sure he probably done something before that, but that was like the first. Like I know him and Condon locked in as creator or artist and writer, and kind of, dude, that one, like the Red Queen Killer, the arc before this one that came out late in summer 22. God, I love that. I love that so much. So good.
Does he do? He does his own coloring too. Jacob Phillips?
Yeah, dude. Like that's one of my favorite parts of this book has been his colors on this. I think Fable pointed it out when he was talking about it. Like it's great.
Oh, I did great colors this at Newburn. Like I love Darsky, but Newburn was all right to me. I haven't read the second arc, but the first arc kind of drugged for me. Still solid story. But it was the art and specifically the colors that stood out for me in Newburn. I didn't even know that Jacob Phillips does colors. So
yeah,
big ups to that man.
There's a beast. It's crazy. He works standing up to me. Like he does all his drawing standing up. I saw some like tour of him doing his like drawing room, and like he doesn't sit down. Isn't that crazy? That's just wild as hell.
That hurts my back just thinking about it.
Yeah. Thanks. All right. Let me try to. I got to get through the rest of these guys. It's late as shit. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Rumpus Room. Mark Russell's been great. I know we're only a couple issues into Rare Flavors by Ron B, but Andrade on the artwork also looks great about this demon cannibal type guy who's like they're trying to get a hold of. Transformers has been arguably the book of the year. Number one was definitely probably the book of the year. Daniel Warren Johnson killing shit. 3 issues in. Damn the All is another great Cy Spurrier book I've fallen behind on. I have to get back into. E, anything you want to say about that one real quick? I know you've been keeping up with that.
Oh, just that it's worth it. It's I mean, it's long-winded. If you're sitting through something epic though, and you're enjoying that, I don't want to hear you complain about this book because it's definitely worth it. Cy is doing all the things that he should have continued to do in Hellblazer when he had the reins at first. Thank God he's coming back. But this is him doing top tier work, and yeah, I can't say enough about it. He gets it all right. The magic is good. The characters are good. It's a masterpiece.
Charlie Adlard from Walking Dead, right? On art.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Can't lose there, dude. I read the first couple issues. I loved it. Some really gnarly writing by Spurrier. So yeah, I'll definitely check that one out. Red Zone. I love this book by Cullen Bunn. Kind of Mike Diodato. I think one of his last things on AWA before he went to DC. But this was a great little mini about basically like a old ex special agent who gets put back in the middle of some shit in Russia. And I love Diodato. It's the height of Diodato, drawing characters after famous movie stars. You got Brian Cox. Carol Burnett is like a Russian assassin in there. You got all sorts of Vincent Castle. You got all sorts of cool celebrity lookalikes in that book. But it's a fun romp. 4 issues. Y'all check it out. Tom Scully's I Am Stan, again, one of the greatest books of the year. A really honest, not brutal, not unfair, but really balanced look at Stanley's life. I think it's a fair portrayal of the good and the bad, and just a beautiful, I think, poetic biography of a man who deserves respect and scrutiny at the same time. If that makes sense, you know what I mean. I feel like Stan definitely deserves his respect and his place in history, but at the same time, we need to look at the fine print of some of these accomplishments. But yeah, dude, that one and the Jack Kirby book that Thomas put together, I highly recommend both of those. I think they're 2 great chapters on 2 of the most important figures in this industry, especially when you talk about Marvel. So, either you guys want to say anything about either 2 of these books? No,
Haven't read them.
Monica, yeah, Monica. Of course, I have this one, but I haven't got to it. I feel like Daniel Clowes, you got to be in the right mood, and I want to be in the right mood to just sit down and enjoy that one. Canary, I'm glad to see that it's getting love past its Comixology run now that it's in print. And a book that's recently come on the radar that's been really great, Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. Shout out to Nick and Robbie for putting this one on my radar. I think Horvath is the writer and creator on this one. It's been excellent, dude. Like a kid's story, but on some completely different shit. I don't really know how to explain it other than that. And 8 Billion Genies, of course, was a book I enjoyed earlier in the year. Just a great run on that. Incredible art by Ryan Brown throughout. Great story by Charles Soule. Killer covers. Y'all read that one or no? 8 Billion Genies? That one was good.
Yes, sir.
Fair enough. But yeah, so that's the end of my indie wrap up. I thank y'all for riding through me. This is for riding with me for this episode. This has definitely been our longest yet. So thank y'all. E, thank you so much for coming through and spending time with us tonight, dude. Incredible appearance, bro.
Oh, I mean, thank you. It was a pleasure to be with you guys.
You came and dropped a crazy 6-10 on us. I gotta go back and rewrite my verse, bro. That was amazing. So thank you coming through. I know I just want to go ahead and plug Fable Show tomorrow night on One Collection Down. We're all going to be there, of course, 9:00 Eastern on One Collection Down on YouTube for the holiday throwdown. Link, you got anything else you want to say to the people before we get out of here?
Shit. Is this the last show before the year ends?
I mean, I thought we could. I'm still down to go on the 26th if you are, but it's your car.
Okay. No, yeah.
I think we still got one more before you're done.
But okay, no, I'll save the sentimental stuff for next week. But no, yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's been a blast. E, thank you for coming on. I can't believe you stayed the entire time.
I know, dude. Thank you so much, honestly, bro. Yeah. Thank you so much. But it's a shame that none of these other PCP bums and my other friends couldn't come and hang out. I'm looking at all of y'all. I'm coming for all of y'all in the back chat. Sorry.
Put them on notice.
Yeah, exactly. I got the receipts too. So, yeah, catch us tomorrow night, 9:00, bro. Shout out to E. Shout out to Link. Thanks to you for everybody in the chat who came through and spent time with us tonight. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. And we'll see y'all next week. Peace.